Is Twitch being weird? That's my question. Wait, I'm looking at the... Hi, everyone. That's what's going on. Hold on. That's it. I was like, something's going on. Something's weird. Hey, everyone. How are you? I was confused for a moment. Oh, I'm Trooper SJP, and this is the Academic Foxhole. Hi, everybody. Welcome in. It is Thursday. I'm sorry that I started late. I was at work for longer than I wanted to be at work. I should be done with work earlier than I was. But you know what? I have great news, everyone. My great news is I will be back on a Monday, Wednesday schedule next semester, so I should not, in the fall, so I should not have to worry about, I should be able to be on my 6 o'clock time like normal, which I'm excited about. So, I'm sorry that I have been so late in the last couple of weeks. It's been really heavy. Like my work has been a little insane. So I appreciate you all putting up with me, as it were. And I will endeavor to, take care of that business. But on the plus side, the semester's almost, well, it's not actually almost over. I say that, but that's actually not even true. Is that true? What day is it? Let's see. Yeah, Twitch has been really weird, right? Twitch has been very strange recently. Hey, Jer. Did you not? Yeah, no, I did. Oh, hey, by the way, congratulations on the job interview, TiVo. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, no, I have been on a Tuesday schedule all this year. Tuesday, Thursday schedule all this year. And that is a little tricky, but I will be back to Monday, Wednesdays for teachings next semester. So I'm looking forward to be able to not have anything, getting in my way of hanging out with you all. So I want to thank you all again for putting up with my tardiness. It is much appreciated. You all are wonderful. And how did my day go? Hey, PH. It's okay to wish that the semester was almost over. Tomorrow is the Ides of March. Hey, if your name is Julius and you get a warning, don't go to the Senate. You might get stabbed. How is my day going? We did soft rock and singer-songwriters today in class, and I had 8 songs on the playlist, but I could only play 2 of them because we also had to talk about the final paper, right? So I was telling them what their final paper was, so we talked about that, and I gave them writing tips and some things to think about, and that took up, it took up a lot of the time. It took maybe a half hour. And so I only had 45 minutes left to talk about the 1970s and deindustrialization and Watergate and the end of the Vietnam War and all of the sort of tensions that were happening, and then sort of give a good context for the rise of easy listening adult contemporary singer-songwriter soft rock, and give a sense of that. So that took up a bunch of time. And by the time I finished with all of that, I only had a half hour left to talk about music, and it takes about 15 minutes a song is about what my pace is. So I could only do 2 songs, and normally in a class I can do 3, sometimes 4. I can usually do 3 to 4 songs in a class, but I only got 2 in, so that was sad. I was sad. Pie Day. Ooh, it is Pie Day. I want pie now. Oh. I thought you had a college. Oh, no. Soft rocks like limestone. Yes. And what else is a good soft rock besides soapstone? Right? That's a soapstone. On the plus side, Julius didn't have to pay taxes that month. Yes. So we played only 2 songs. For the singer-songwriter, we played Carole King, It's Too Late, from her album Tapestry, huge hit. And then Pumice Stone, oh hey Beeboodle. And then for soft rock, we played Captain Tim Neal's Love Will Keep Us Together. And I wanted to play Hotel California, and I wanted to play Have You Never Been Mellow? Like, there are things I wanted to play, but I did not get to play them all, and that is That is my life. That is the life of someone who does not have Speckstein. I actually don't know if they call Speckstein in English either. Pi Day has gotten less exciting to me since 2015. That's fair. But here's the thing. If there's an excuse to have Pi, I will take it. I will take it. Hey, Nightbot. How are you doing? Hey, Volpez. So this is what happened. I wanted to tell you. I'm experimenting with some stuff to maybe make things go a little bit easier when I'm streaming things. And that is, so I have got an iMac Pro, which I got not too long ago. It's like my new computer. Ooh, a good pork pie. So I have this iMac Pro, which is this, you know, beautiful beefy computer that's got like all the speed and all the RAM. Like it's got a Radeon Pro Vega 64. It's got a pretty good graphics card. But I was having problems with the stream the very first Night Witches, which I think might have been, I don't know if I had my old computer or my new one at that point in time. I love a good pork pie hat. Oh, there's this really good song called Pork Pie Hat Blues, maybe? Pork Pie Hat by Mark Murphy, jazz singer. And it's like it's a jazz song that didn't have lyrics and he added lyrics to it. And it's like when Charlie speaks of Lester, you know someone great has gone. Great singing music, jazz, had a porky pig hat on. A bright star in a dark age. Anyway, it's a great song, and it talks about the pork pie hat. Anyway, I'm being distracted. Ooh, a breakfast pie. That sounds good. Point being, it's got this, the iMac Pro's got a 5K monitor, like really like amazing, great monitor built in. But that monitor, so good, actually gives well, first off, OBS has problems doing screen capture, browser capture, window capture on Macs anyway. So that's already a bit of a problem. It gives a little bit of a flicker. I see you, Levi. I see you over there. So it gives a bit of a flicker, generally speaking. It's like OBS is not so great with, well, it doesn't do browser capture. All browser capture just gives you problems. So you have to do screen capture, and it's not so great on a Mac. But it's really bad with the beautiful 5K display because it's a lot of data and it just overloads everything and everything is bad. So the way that I've gotten around it so far is that I minimize the windows. I put, well, first off, I have to put Firefox and Zoom side by side, not overlapping. On Game Show, I could have them overlapping so I could switch between them and have a nice, good full screen, but OBS will not handle that at all. It can't handle it. So while Trooper is singing, buddies are doing it again. Make Trooper talk all the time. You know, I'm going to get there. I have to tell you what happened, right? So I have to put it side by side, and by, you know, decreasing the screen size of the two windows, it takes up less graphics, and so, you know, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, but what I'm going to do is I just ordered a third monitor. So I have this second monitor, which is a 1080p monitor, which is sitting over on this side. And I got I'm explaining to you why I was confused. I'm explaining to you why I was confused. So I bought a C92, a C9022, C922C webcam. You know, one of the big fancy webcams everybody likes because it was like on sale for like $60. So I got one, but I'm not using it right now. Right now I'm still using my built-in webcam, which looks great to me. But I bought it and I tried it and I was like, I didn't like what it looked like. I hadn't figured out what the settings were. So I was like, I won't use it for the moment. And when you use the built-in webcam, which is, you know, right there, which is attached to my big 5K monitor, then I want to look at the monitor, which means I've been having Zoom and all the RPG stuff here on this monitor because I'm looking at the camera, I'm looking there, whatever. So what I've decided to do, I know. So I see you, Levi. What I decided to do was get a second, basically a third monitor, which I will place above the other one. And I got one of those stands, which allows you to do 2 monitors vertically. So I can have 2, one on top of the other. So I'll have like this one here, and then I'll have 2, one on top of the other. But I put my camera over on that outside, the 922C. So what I'll do is I'm going to put, it's going to come on Monday. So I'm going to set everything up on Monday and see what it looks like for Night Witches on Saturday. But I'll have Firefox and then also Zoom on 2 separate monitors on this side with the fancy webcam, so that I can do all the screen captures on that, which has a lower, you know, it's a 1080, not a 5K. So I think it'll put less stress on the graphics card, and it might put less stress on OBS, and it might stop the crashing problem that I've been having, because I've been having a problem. It's happened twice now. I am the Admiral of the Starfleet. It's happened twice now where coming out of the credits video for Night Witches has caused a crash, but never in the beginning, only after like halfway through the stream, like after the break. I don't know why that happens. It actually is very frustrating. So I'm hoping that switching up everything will make things go easier. But I was testing it out last night, and I used the new webcam camera, and I was practicing with it, and the web camera is over here. So when I started, I was talking to you over here. That's because I was just sort of thinking that I had the webcam on, and that one, but I have this one. So that's why I was confused, everyone. So if I was looking in the wrong space, that's why. What about Rocket Fox? She's so good, everybody. Get a swing arm for the monitor so you can move it out of the way when you don't need it. I don't have a swing arm. I have one. It's like what it does is that it's one big pole with a big wide base that you can attach 2 monitors, one above the other. It's not a swing arm though, but you can tilt them up and back. So I'm hoping, you know, it was like $50. It was a $50 stand. And so I'm hoping that will be good. I will miss Night Witches. I'm going to miss Night Witches too. And I just wish I had more time. You know, I wish I had more time for that show, because we have to finish Poland on Saturday, so we can have 2 sessions for Buchholz, which is the last duty station. And I have truncated the duty stations as best as I can to make it so that we can get to the end of the war. Maybe we can move to Iceland, where the Night Witches last months. Yeah. And I wish, and it's, you know, here's what's really interesting. I don't know what you all think about this. You know, we're going to play, but I want to chat with you a little bit because I've missed you all. You know what I think is really interesting? Also, I've got this thing with you don't care about my microphone. It's a great microphone, but, you know, you can see my cable. And I mean, I could probably get away with that by plugging in this to something else, but whatever. Anyway, what's so fascinating to me is that there are people, I think in New York, because Jason Morningstar's from this New York scene, and they did actually. The Night Witches, extension audio cable. I mean, it's fine, you know. So the thing is right now is that I've plugged my earphones into the mic itself, which is fine because I'm routing the sound through the mic, so it works. But if I wanted to plug into something different, I'd have to route differently and have to make a different aggregate device. Oh, yeah. It's a good idea, Levi. Yes, the Night Witches made it all the way to Buchholz. They started off in Engels, and they made it all the way up to Buchholz in real life. No, it's fine, because it's not really all that. It's not really even all that big of a deal. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine. I'm not. Like, it's just the corner. It's not a big deal. Yeah, and the thing about the Night Witches, the game, is that it actually follows the duty stations they took in real life. There are a couple that I think they leave out because there are only 6 duty stations and they actually did all the stuff. But the game itself follows historically where they went and the dates that they were there, so that's very cool. Cable. Hey, Krellin. So yeah, apparently Jason Morningstar, when he runs Night Witches, Cable, Deadpool, Slaymaster, he's able to get through like an entire duty station in one session. And I have well, first off, I have no idea how you can get through 6 missions in one session. That is crazy to me. That's crazy. I mean, at best, that's yeah. Hey, Neo. No, you're right, Krellin. That's it, right? Krellin has it. How do you get through six missions in one session? No RPing, and maybe the sessions are an 8-hour game per station. Yeah, I mean, I think that it has to be really slim on the RPing is the only thing I can imagine is how you get through that many missions in one session. And I imagine this, and I know that their sessions are 4-hour blocks, but even still, 4 hours, I could not imagine getting through 6 missions with all the RP that you need to do for the game in 4 hours. Yeah. Krellin, I think that's probably true. I think it's really, really slim on the RP is the only way that you can do it, which is not what I'm interested in. So I'm feeling like... I feel like for a really good RP interested group, 3 sessions per duty station on average, and maybe if things get really sort of intense, maybe a 4th. So, yeah. So I think... Yeah, right. No, Olga, that would be sad. So I'm thinking 6 duty stations, probably 18 sessions, maybe 20 just to be safe, like schedule for 20. And you could probably get, like, I think 20 sessions for a good RP heavy group would be a nice number for Night Witches. The way that we play it, right? I mean, because if you think about it, we spent 4 sessions in Pashkovskaya, which was duty station 3, and we could have spent more. Do I watch Rivals of Waterdeep? I have watched 1 episode, and I really liked it. I thought it was really good. But I haven't seen more because actually I don't know when it airs. I've got to find it. I should just watch it on... I have to take off my... sound on my watch. I have to figure out, I should just watch it on VOD. I'm so behind right now. I got behind when I was sick, but I watched 1 session of Rivals of Waterdeep, and it had a really interesting aesthetic. It felt very much like a radio play with the way that they had the table set up, and it was pretty cool. Oh. That's why I'm not watching it. I watched 1 episode. I watched 1 episode before Night Witches started, and I really liked it. So I should go and watch it. But without RP, what would you do for Night Witches? It would just be roll some dice, you get hurt, you get killed off of the 2 other planes, roll more dice. Yeah, I think that Night Witches is all about the RP, and without the RP, it just doesn't do what it needs to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I suppose you could do it. I've seen, because I watch a lot of actual plays. Oh, I'm excited for this. The Halfling Bard. Yeah, I just watched 1 episode, and it was it was one of the more recent ones because it was one of the ones live, and it was a pretty intense episode, and I liked it a lot. I should watch Rivals of Waterdeep. I have more, like, it's funny because I think about the shows that I watch and the shows that I don't watch, and what I think about them, and which ones do I want to keep on and which ones I don't. And I just have thoughts about that. Yeah. You know? Perrin Underwood. This time PU stands for pretty unbelievable. You're unbelievable. Oh! Bump, 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 bump. EMF, right? You know the things you say. Your purple prose just gives you away. The things you say. You're unbelievable. Right? Never mind. Hulk want thoughts. That's his thing. Pio says something different all the time. Oh, that's cool. I like that. I like that a lot. So, gang, I am really sad that Night Witches is coming to an end, and I wish we just had a little bit more time. We're getting 13 episodes, which is great. I'm happy that we get 13. I just wish that we had just a couple more. Oh, that's what I was saying. Because Pashkovskaya was 4 sessions. We did four sessions in Pashkovskaya, but we could have spent one more session there. And of course, it did take a little bit longer because Lena had to come back and certain personnel moves sort of brought that out a little bit. But like with our game, we could have easily done that one duty station in 5 sessions. Like no question about it. And we skipped, so we did duty station 1, which was training. We did duty station 2, where they were in the dugouts. And then I won't tell anyone PH. So duty station 2 was the dugouts, where they were, and then duty station 3 was Pashkovskaya, where they had the tents. Oh, Veronica is pretty badass. I love her. And then we skipped duty station 4 because I was like, there's no way we're going to be able to get to the end of the war if we do duty station 4. So we skipped duty station 4, moved to duty station 5 in Poland. And then we're gonna do duty station 6, which is actually 2 different locations, but we're only gonna do the second half, the last location to get there. But I have to tell you, like, I really like all of them. I'm very interested in so much, right? So much that's so interesting. You know what I think is fascinating? Just thinking about what's been happening in the game. There are people who are very mad at Mel, for dating Nick. Like they're like, Mel, how could you like abandon Lena and date Nick? How dare you? Like it's like the worst thing ever. And I'll miss them all. But what's so fascinating is that Lena and Mel were like only seeing each other for like a week. Do you know what I mean? Like they were flirting around for quite some time, but in terms of like the length of a relationship, it was a fairly short time period. And Lena was gone for like 10 months. Yeah, right? It's been a year is what I'm trying to say. Like it's been a year. And Nick and Mel grew together this entire time. So, I mean, do you know what I mean? Like that's like, I know it sucks, right? It sucks, but it's just that like I know that it sucks, but realistically, right? Lena and Nick were like building this relationship for almost an entire year, and now they've been together for like 2.5 years. You know what I mean? Yes, thank you, PH. It's not a fairy tale of true love. But the ship, well, we have a new ship. Like, I love that all of you appreciate where I'm coming from on this one. And, you know, that's what happened. So some people are very mad at Mel, and I was like, I am not mad at Mel. You know what I mean? Because it's what happened, you know? That's all. It's what happened. Yes, that's right. Now she can be mutually closeted in a mutually closeted relationship with her hometown beau, and that's the best. Who doesn't want a mutually closeted beard relationship? That's awesome. I also love that Lena right now is like kind of violent. You know what I mean? She's not in a good mood right now. TiVo, you can do what you want. I do not put pressure on you, but I like Night Witches, and yes, I'm the GM, so I'm biased. But I think it's really fun. I enjoy the campaign. I think the players are wonderful. I really like them. It is very 1940s, isn't it, Krellin? It's so 1940s. I think it's a good show. And I'm gonna say this. This is just my opinion, and I am biased. So, right, please take that into account. But I think that our game this is really biased. I shouldn't say it. Oh, TiVo, do what you can. I mean, I always thought Lena was bi, and there was attraction. Oh, Jer, that's totally true. By the way, that is true. What you said, Jer, Lena's totally bi. She's totally bi, and there was attraction to Alexei in the beginning, without a doubt. I was talking to somebody else who didn't see it, and I was like, oh, no, that was totally there. Yeah, but Alexei is totally gay, though. It is true. But it's actually true. Lena's totally bi. I mean, that's totally a thing. Yes. Yes. So what I wanted to say though, and this is okay, I'm going to say this, and I realize that it's biased, so you can all be like, murr, 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 and I'm not bragging. This is just what I really feel. Friendship is a really powerful bond, and I am very hopeful. Well, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in the next 3 sessions, so I can't say. Yes, right. He totally does. Thank you, Krellin. I'm imagining Alexei as sort of like, kind of like, yeah, he's got that pretty boy vibe. Yeah, he's totally like a 1940s closeted gay heartthrob. Like, that is how I'm imagining him. Oh no, Alexei is gay and in a relationship. He is dating. I will say that. Yes, he is gay and he is dating. But Lena is bi, and that is true. Yeah, I mean, how good is it for him? I mean, it's good for him. It's an awkward situation to be in, but I mean, I have things that I would like. Hey, Critwitch, what did you learn? I would like Alexei and Lena to have like a really great, strong friendship for years and years and years and for decades. But I don't even know if Alexei's going to live or Lena will live till the end of the series. Like, I actually don't know, because I don't know what choices our players will make when it comes time to taking marks, right? Because none of them have taken marks that say, you know, witness the death of a friend or a loved one, witness the death of a comrade. Like, those marks are still out there. Some of them have taken them, but not all of. Like, I think Maggie took one for Arena, and I think finish out the series, right? I remember the train. If there's anything you need, no. Mm-hmm. Yep. So here's the thing. Those marks are like, kill some people you care about. They are still in play. And I don't know if our players are going to take them or not. But if they do, right? Veronica is the war hero. She is the war hero. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Alexei will survive the war. I don't know if Lena will survive the war, because she's getting a little bit reckless. And they've all been playing a little close. They've been playing dangerously. So we will see. I don't know what will happen. I would like to think that Lena and Alexei survive the war and have a great sort of like friendship with each other for some time, but I don't know what will happen. We'll find out. I can't say. It is unclear to me what will happen. Like, I don't know what's going to happen next session. I know we still need to kill and we do need to kill Ivanova. Yes, we do. She's going to die, and it has to be really good. Do you know what I mean? Like, it has to be yeah, I'm excited. Thank you. The Nightingale. Yes, right. I mean, I'm just saying that there's stuff. And we have to, and the thing is, we only have one more session for Poland, which means realistically one more mission. So we've got a bunch to get through. We've got to start with the debriefing is what we're going to start on Saturday. And then they'll do all of their stuff, and there'll be stuff happening. And I wanted to tell you before we start the game, I wanted to make my brag, my sort of arrogant statement. And I know this sounds really, ooh. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you candy. Come on to my house, I'm going to give you everything. Ooh, thank you for the host, Critwitch. Oh, don't even worry about it. You should ever die by being revealed as the spy, and then Anasova punches her and she dies from the punch. And then a Nazi was punched and the spy dies and everyone's happy. Now, see, I will tell you, I think dying from a punch, that is something that I'm very excited about. If there's an opportunity for her to die by a punch, I will take it. But it won't be fun. It'll be terrible. if there's an opportunity for her to die by a punch, I will take it. I will take it, everybody. I'm going to tell you, I will take it. Because Define the Tone of the Game is my favorite. Oh no, but it wouldn't be like a heroic punch. It wouldn't be like a woo, we punched the spy and the Nazi and everything is great. That's not how it would go at all. It would be terrible. It would be a terrible death punch. It would be awful, and I would love it. Yeah, if it happens, if somebody punches Ivanova, if Ivanova gets punched, it'll happen. I mean, I don't know if she's going to get punched or not. She might. I don't know if she will. Yes, and then Olga will show up and say, "What did you do?" Yeah, I'm just saying, I will tell you, I don't know if anyone is going to punch Ivanova, but if they do, I'm going to kill her. And it's going to be awesome for me, not for them. I will be inspired by, I think it's Jailhouse Rock by Elvis. Elvis, in the film Jailhouse Rock, Elvis goes to prison for killing someone because he punches him in a bar fight and the guy dies accidentally. And that puts Elvis Presley's character in jail. So anyway, I'm very excited I'm just saying, if it happens, I've not spoken to the players about this, so don't mention it. No, I see. I don't do it in a Gygaxian way. I don't see my desire to sort of do this is not Gygaxian because Gygax, being like a good gamist, wants to challenge the players, right? He wants to give the players themselves, not the characters, but the players, difficulty, right? So that the players themselves have to bring up all their ingenuity as tacticians and puzzle solvers to sort of get through the puzzle that is the dungeon, right? So in a good Gygaxian model, it's a puzzle that if you're really good as a player and you have really good player skills, you can defeat this puzzle. You can survive this dungeon. And I am not Gygaxian that way because I'm not actually interested in testing player skills. If I were, I would not be telling the players, hey, maybe you don't want to make that choice because if you do, you're going to get in trouble. Right? Like I, as a GM, I have told them, like whenever they're like, well, let's just take enemy fire. I'll say, taking enemy fire might be a really bad idea. Mechanically speaking, like if I were a Gygaxian, I just wouldn't tell them any of that stuff. If I were a Gygaxian, I would not explain the rules to them in that way, and I would expect them to do it on their own and then die. And there have been a couple moments, and here's the thing: I feel like I feel like I have an obligation to explain to the players to make sure that they know what the rules are, so they can make choices, well-informed choices. So, and actually, Krellin and I have talked about this before, or there's been a conversation around streamed RPGs where, like, I just am not a gotcha GM in that way where I'm like, ha, you didn't read that rule, so now I'm going to get you. That's not interesting for me. I'm not, like, I will tell you, like, if bad things are going to happen, I want it to have been your choice. Like, you make that choice. Yeah, right. Like, I mean, here's the thing. You can, I will tell them, I said, if you have the choice between taking harm, having your plane damaged, or enemy fire, don't take harm if that harm will kill you. Don't take the plane damage, your plane's already damaged. If you can take the damaged plane or the harm, do that first. Or the marks, if you have no other way out, then take the enemy fire. But because enemy fire is like 5 harm, like negative consequences. Like, don't do it. Yeah. It does. Yeah, it doesn't. My friend warns her daughter, you're about to learn a valuable life lesson that is so good. So mechanically, like, I'm not testing the players that way. I don't want to get them no gotcha. But for me, here's the thing. Here's the thing about Ivanova. she's going to die, and I didn't do it. They did it, right? They made that choice. Your players are super unwilling to take plane damage when all it is having to make another roll they're fairly good at. This is fair, but it's because they don't want their planes to be damaged. They really care about their planes. Like they don't want their planes damaged, right? Like they care. Like they've come to care about their planes fairly, quite a lot, which I appreciate. And I love the fact, what they never do? Planes are armor. Ooh. Somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Oh, I always feel that somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? Hey, person with a name that I'm not going to read out loud. Welcome in. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, so, right, their armor, they're supposed to get damaged and maintained. This is right. You don't want to get 2 damage, because 2 damage, your plane goes down. But, like, taking 1 is not so bad, unless you're already super injured. But, like, it's not bad, but they don't want their planes damaged. Jer, they do. They care more about their planes than their NPC wing women, and that is fair. That is fair. Oh, rough. But so here's, hello, Ice Bunny, I see you. But I will say this, they chose to witness the death of they chose to mark Ivanova. They do care about Anastasia, which they did in the beginning, but they do now. But yeah, they chose to mark Ivanova. That was their choice. They chose to mark her knowing that would kill her. And so it is now my job to find a way to make that death happen. And I have killed NPCs. I have killed a lot of NPCs. This will be the 4th NPC, 5th really, that has died. Yeah. I know I did make her so punchable. I did. So like, right, I mean, Sarah died in the plane, right, in the middle of the plane mission, in that kind of dramatic way there, and they had to carry her body back. Polya died. She was injured with the shrapnel, and then collapsed after their celebration. And then Polya, Sarah, what was her face? Oh my gosh, hold on. What is her face? What's her face? Give me her face. Where did I put it? No. What is her face? Where's my cheat sheet? Where'd it go? For heaven's sakes. Oh, I remember them. Her name was she was the one who was She was a sergeant, and her name was, she wasn't around a long time. She wasn't here for a long time. That's why I'm losing her face a little bit, but hold on. I will get this, because if I don't remember this, it's going to make me crazy. And I'm looking at all of my paperwork. Give me a second. Here we go. No? Yes. Tamara Golovina. Tamara Golovina was our 3rd one to die. And she was this sort of nasally one who was very, the zealot. She was the zealot. And she died in a train, and when a train was bombed, right? So that was a very different kind of death. And that one I wanted to sort of show the ways in which, to sort of bring the war home a little bit, the danger of the war, but also have ways to sort of see how people, sometimes can die in these super non-heroic ways. They do want to die, but she didn't die in a really good way. She didn't die like while fighting. She just died while traveling to the next base on a train, and it got bombed. So she didn't even die in a really good way. So that was something I kind of was interested in. And so my hope is that I want Ivanova to die in a different way than all the rest of them. Something, and then we have an execution. So I want her to die in a different way. That's what I want. she was a leaf on the wind. She was a leaf on the wind. Yeah, so I want her to die in a different way than the other ways. And I will tell you, if somebody punches her, she's gonna die that way. I can see the scene in Jailhouse Rock with Elvis, and I can see how the guy died. Spy Shootout is a way that she could die. So there are ways, but I want it to be different and new, and that is something I'm very excited about. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let me tell you. Oh, by the way, Just Cause 3 is going to be our giveaway game for today, just so you know. And I'm also hosting Critical Role at 10 o'clock here on my channel for those who want to watch Critical Role and hang out with us. Oh yes, she died, and that was scripted. Oh, there's been a lot of death, and actually, then there are the 4 planes that got shot down by the Hexenjäger, and so that was 8 women there. So yeah, we've had a lot of death. Just cut to footage from Mortal Kombat X, all sorts of X-ray shots of which people would die from being punched. Marina Raskova, yes. Dodgy vodka poisoning. Like, there are a lot of ways, but I want it to be something different than what we had before. Something interesting, something that will be, I hope, something that will affect them and give them things to play off of, right? So Polya died in a way that I thought was really good to help Irena's character advance and progress some. Yeah, Veronica's squad had people die. So, like, in some ways, all those deaths, I think, did good work, right? So Sarah Brinovich's death sort of hit Titania pretty well because, you know, that was her other Leningrad person, and she carried that body. I need to remember something, by the way, for game. They don't have to die. They can be removed horribly. So, for example, she could die, or she could be sent to a gulag for the rest of her life. That would also work. Or she could have her mind shattered and be sent to a sanitarium. So, like, you don't, yes, that is, Krellin, that is correct. She could be sent to a gulag. That is also a thing that is doable. I know, Krellin. Why are we in each other's brains? We're in each other's brains. Yes. So like, I want something that'll be interesting and different, that will do good work, but also make sense. So that's what I'm hoping. And like, so yeah, Sarah's death hit Titania pretty well. Polya's death ended up hitting Irena really well. Nobody cared about Tamara Gonalvina's death, but that's fine because that's also interesting in a certain way. Yeah, so I want Ivanova's death to do something interesting. We'll see how that goes. So in case you don't know what this sheet of paper is that I pulled out, I actually have to update it, to be honest, but I know, I was like, I'm going to scar her real bad. And they took it, and I was like, okay. So I have a cheat sheet where I put the names of our core crew, and then the basically all the people that are in their section that they would be flying with. So I have it just right down as like a little table tent right below the monitor. So in case I'm like, wait, what was Golovina's night? Then I got their stuff just there. I actually don't even need it anymore for our main crew, but I do have it. There you go. Stassi and Veronica should run off together and be awesome war heroes, scarred badasses. Right. I think you'll really like what I have planned for the last session in 3 weeks. I think you'll like it because, I mean, I hope it happens the way I hope it does. I'm really excited for that, for this opportunity, for this possibility. We'll see. This death hit her really good, right? Because I want to give them opportunities to do good stuff. Now, I also have to worry about the marks they have, right? Like I've got to help fulfill these last marks they have left unfulfilled. So, for example, Irena has. She took the mark, ignore a problem until it overwhelms. So I've got to get something going on there. That'll be good. And they've got to tell some war stories. So I've got a bunch of them have to go and tell some war stories, but they got to do that. I'm totally gonna play a game. I want you to know that is totally what I'm doing. I am playing a game. Like, it is totally happening. Just it's, I mean, I'm going to do it. Krellin. That's totally what I'm gonna do. So I think, oh, you know what I need to do? I need to turn off flow, because that is making my screen look less exciting. There we go. Playing games is dumb. It's dumb. So I wish we had more time, because I feel like I really want 3 sessions per duty station to really let it breathe. Because with this crew, like this particular cast is, they really, and like there are things that I've not been able to do that I need to do. Like I've got to get Irina a forbidden love, and I had some options out there. So I've got work I have to do. That's all. Twitch RPG literally just surveyed me today on another segment, and this one was a guy who learned magic skills talking to chat and showing off, and it was the first time I voted positively to a Twitch RPG survey. Huh. What is Twitch RPG? Maybe the problem that overwhelms is the rivalry between her or Lena, and Ivanova ends in a fight that kills Ivanova. Andre is totally forbidden. He's so little in Tuna Tomboys. Yeah, I actually like Andre. I like him. I think he's pretty cool. You know, I kind of just like this little redhead guy. Oh, Twitch RPG is a survey group that Twitch does to see what they should be pushing in marketing. Huh. Pardon me. I have never run into them before, but that's cool. Yeah, I like Andre. He wasn't there very long, but he kind of has grown on me a little bit. So, oh, it's how you get bits when you have bits. Oh, I should do that. That seems fun and interesting. That seems interesting. But I think you're right, Jer. I think that the Lena Ivanova rivalry is the problem that is going to overwhelm, and I think that's the, yeah. I think Andre's from the secret Irish branch of Russia. That's right. He's Andrei Kazanov O'Shaughnessy. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking, right? That Jer, you're on my wavelength. That I feel like that is the problem that will overwhelm. I just have to see if I can. I mean, it's not. So with Night Witches, because you have these things as a GM that you need to manifest, right? So like, for example, I've got this thing, I've got to have a problem that will overwhelm until it's ignored until it's overwhelmed. I have that. I've got to sort of, I know that's a thing I need to do. I know I need to kill Ivanova, because these are all choices that the players have made that I need to sort of figure out how to weave into the story. And what I don't do is script it, in the sense that I don't tell the players, I don't say, hey players, you've got this thing, why don't I do this? And we can, like, we don't talk about it ahead of time. It's just not what I do. Yeah, no. Yeah, they're redheads. Actually, I'm thinking of it. Anyway, so I don't script it ahead of time, but so what I try to do is I try to set up the situation such that it will happen, right? So, so for example, if Ivanova gets punched, I want to kill her that way, because I think that'll be really good. And that also will be a really good ignoring a problem until it gets out of hand and overwhelms. That's all very good. But the only way this is going to happen, like be really good, is if I can get preferably Lena to punch Ivanova. And see right there, redheads. See, Volpez knows. So if I can get Lena to punch Ivanova, then it's on. But I can't tell Shell Game that's what I want her to do, because that's no longer That's not good. I need Shell Game to decide that she wants to punch Ivanova in the face, right? I need that to be her choice, not mine. And here's the thing. See, Krellin, I can do it, right? Like, I can get it to happen. Well, I may not be able to, right? It might not happen, but I think I can get it. I think I can get it to happen. Like, that one's a good one. But the thing is, Ivanova accusing Irina of being a spy, very aggressive in front of Lena, may not do it because then Irina might punch her out. And that's not what I want. I want to get it so that Lena will do it. And I think I can get it to happen, but I need it to be Shell Game's choice to do it and her idea, right? I need it to be Shell Game's idea to punch Ivanova so that I can kill Ivanova and traumatize her. Yes, right? I can accuse... oh, right. This is the thing. I'm like, okay, and it could be accusing Stasia, but I think there are probably slightly better ways to go that might get that happening. Like, I think, yeah, get her to punch her into a running propeller. Like, there are some ways, like, I'm feeling like we can get it. And then here's the thing. Lena is looking for a fight, so I know I can do it, right? I know I can do it because Lena's looking for a fight. But if I want it to be the problem that is overwhelming, I need to sort of set up some... I mean, first off, there's already tension between them, which I think is pretty amazing, because Ivanova and Irina had this tension for a long time, but now that seems to have dissipated now that Lena's become super aggro. So Lena's spoiling for a fight, so I'm pretty sure that it won't take much for me to push that to happen, but I want to get some... Yes, it is very convenient narratively, right? But I need to get some kind of aggro, some kind of problem before that punch happens, because I want that feeling of the problem overwhelming. So I want there to be a moment to fulfill that mark. I want there to be a moment. Oh yeah, this is what I'm saying, Jer. Some mess tent gossip, right? I think. And do you want a spoiler? It's not a big spoiler because you're gonna find out right away. So they're going to need a new person coming into the section. Right, they've got the 4, which, and right now they currently have 6, but they're going to need a replacement because Ivanova's going to die, and and it's going to be the Greek. The Greek's going to be their new woman in the section, and the Greek's a gossip, so I get to bring the Greek back as our big gossip, so that'll be good. But I want to have that sort of the name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F or an M will appear. And then I say boo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. And then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Vopes, 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 Bobopes, banana, fanner, fofopes, fee, fi, momopes. Vopes. Thank you so much for the resub. 14 months, and Vopes says, hey, look, 1 hour and time to start the game soon. But we're totally gonna do it soon. So what I would like, so that I can hit both marks, right, is to have there be some kind of a problem emerging around Lena and Ivanova that Irina knows about and then doesn't do anything about, and then maneuver it so that Lena will punch Ivanova and then kill Ivanova. Like, if I can, that's like, for my mind, that's 2 scenes. I need 1 scene where the problem starts building and Irina doesn't do anything about it, or not really enough. And then I want a 2nd scene where the punch happens. Now, can I get this to happen? I don't know. I think I can do it. I think I can do it. I mean, let me put it this way. I got Lena to turn herself in. That was also not something that we had talked about in advance. Like, we had not planned that. And I knew that Shell Game would not have her character turn herself in if it didn't feel true. So I was like, it's fine. I got it. Don't worry about it. I will get you to turn that character in. And then I did. Because I was like, here's how you do it. You have Mel say, I'm going to turn myself in the morning. And then she's going to do it. Like, boom. So like, I can usually get players to do the thing. I can usually get them to do stuff and have them think it's their idea. Because I know the characters, right? Like, if I know the characters well and I know where they're at, I can usually make it so that the characters will do the things I think they're going to do, so that, right, it all works itself out. So I think I can do it. Welcome to the Academic Foxhole, where we take 2 years to finish games and our major pastime is running off on tangents and cliffs. And I manipulate my players. Hey, yeah, Vulpes. So, am I manipulating the players? Maybe, yes. So I don't know. So it is. There are a bunch of things that I have planned to go on next session, and there's a bunch of things I want to happen next session, but we'll see. The thing is, it's a lot. Like, I've got some stuff I got to deal with Arena. I've got to kill Ivanova. No, actually, I don't think so, because Gygax is just more like... Gygax wants to test his players. Do you know what I mean? The whole talk this morning was actually about Iron Fist and global manipulation. See, I don't think that Gygax... I feel like Gygax is doing something different. Like, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give the players... Like, my goal... Well, it's a little bit different from Night Witches. Night Witch is a little bit different than what I tend to normally do. In Night Witches, I have a job, which is to fulfill their marks. They choose marks, and I have to fulfill them. So I have to find a way, like which is not Gygaxian at all. Like, for them, for Gygax, is like, I'm going to sort of mess with you. You're going to have to use all of your skills and all of your, like, sheep that you brought into the dungeon, whatever. But with Night Witches, part of my job is to make their marks come true. They choose the marks. They're like, here's the mark I've taken. And I'm like, okay, well, did this happen in the past? No, it's going to happen in the future. All right, I'm going to figure out how to make this happen. So this is me trying to find a way to fulfill the marks that they have chosen. Gygax wants players to stick their hand in the hole. Go on, do it. There could be treasure in there. Or a key you need. It's totally fine. Stick your hand in the gaping maw. That is totally Gygax. Hey, there's a gaping maw. Just stick your hand in there. It's totally cool. Do it. Don't you want to? And what I'm trying to do, like in Night, which is what I'm mostly trying to do, is fulfill all their marks before we end the game. I'm like, oh my gosh, we have got how many marks left? Like, I think Lena has to tell 2 stories. Arena has to tell 1. There's so many stories that need to be told. I got to make sure they've got a time around a campfire or something. Ugh. It's totally not Sphere of Annihilation. But so in Night Witches, I have to fulfill these marks. That's what so I have to, like, find a way to fulfill these marks. It's actually very interesting, because in Night Witches, spend a lot of time being reactive to them. So, for example, I need to try to find a way to fulfill those marks. Flash Gordon, 80s Flash Gordon movie. Sorry, small digression. But father, not the boar worms. Cornella Muti. Water is leaking out of her eyes. Go, Flash, go. And then the cartwheel. And then you... Savior of the universe. Dun, 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 dun. You Mongo person. I love that moment when she's like, Father, water is leaking out of her eyes. Flash. So good. I think I'm going to write about Flash Gordon, actually, in one of my books. First wing, dive! Oh, Flash Gordon. Oh. So I have to fulfill their marks. And the other thing I have to do is try to find opportunities for them to fulfill their roles conditions by the end of the duty station, right? So Fox has fulfilled her vision. Oh, she hasn't done a premonition for this duty station yet. But I try to come up with a situation where her premonition could have been fulfilled for the last duty station. I have been really he was totally saying die. He probably was saying die. I have been trying so hard to get Mac a situation where she could buck against the patriarchy and get in trouble for it. Like, I've been trying to set up situations for each duty station where there'd be like a chance for her to buck against the patriarchy and get in trouble for it so she can get her end of duty station advance. And each time I set it up, she's missing, right? Like, I was like, okay, this talent show will be the perfect opportunity for her to like buck against the patriarchy. But she was missing the day the actual happened. Like, all these moments that I try so hard. And then like there's a time where they were going to go and do the vandalism on the planes. She wasn't there for that one. I tried so hard. So it's true. The Hawkmen were just dying, not diving. That is fair. And they're just getting shot out of the sky. It was awkward. That's what happens when you're just Hawkmen. Like, you don't have armor. You're not in a plane. And you're going against like a battle fortress with like lasers. It's never a good idea. Never a good idea. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, so I do a lot of trying to fulfill. Well, you know, she can totally work that way. You know, she can totally function that way. And actually also just military structure itself works that way. But, you know, but they can also be more proactive. Anyway, so I do a lot of reaction stuff. But in a normal sense, when I'm normally running a game, I will do things like that, not to test the players, but to test the characters, right? I want to, yeah, because she's not, but the military structure itself can be that moment where you're bucking against the patriarchy. And she does like having women show up the men, because she herself has had nobody cares. I know nobody cares about this, but she herself has had a really hard life, and she has dealt with some unbelievable sexism. She's been in the service a lot longer than they have, and they do want to buck against Olga. Oh well. She's had a very hard life, and she's dealt with a lot of patriarchy in ways that were pretty awful. Like, she's had a really hard life, and I mean, I don't know if her backstory is ever going to come out, but, you know, she came from nothing, and she has worked really hard, and she, you know, she has reasons why she is how she is. Doesn't mean that she's a nice person that you want to hang out with her, because you don't. Those are not true statements. And not the way to Tanya bucked against Svetlana. Boom, boom. Oh, yeah. I'm excited for Saturday, and I'm excited to see. Thank you, Krellin. You know, is your game on YouTube too? It is on YouTube. And they could play a prank on Olga. If they did, if they play a prank on Olga and Nick gets in trouble for it, I will totally count that against her condition for advancement, like, without a doubt. If they do it, they do it. So in terms of YouTube, my understanding is that Night Witches is still only up to episode 6 on YouTube, because what? Really? Who did that? Thank you, anonymous cheerer, for the bits. That's amazing. I'm going to sing you a song. Anonymous cheerer, I'm going to sing you a song. I'm going to sing you We're in the Money in Pig Latin, in the style of Ginger Rogers from the film Gold Diggers of 1933, and I'm going to see if I can get all of the Pig Latin right, because I'm a little bit rusty, but here you go. Thank you. Earway and hey, the anime. Earway and hey, the anime. Evoyat ke aweat lea voyat wayat wayex te utayat ke ang leo. Earway and hey, the anime. E the I skazer ani say. Old man the adiation pre uye uthre ubi aste an weong reo. Ewe every eat re ad leans lay of wed brands lay ute day. And when we see the and layor equally at the I got in the IA. We're in the money. We're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. Ooh, thank you very, very much. That is much appreciated. Thank you. So now I need a fourth monitor. So here's the thing. YouTube is not up to date. It's only to episode 6. I I assume the other episodes will be uploaded soon. However, the podcast is up to date because I am uploading the podcasts myself. I am making the podcasts. Like once the show is done, I rip the audio, I edit the audio down, I make my little, bumper audio, and I put it up to SoundCloud. So the SoundCloud is up to date. So if you want to, Vulpes. Gang, will you do me a favor? Will you hold for like 1 second? Will you hold for 1 second? 1 second? 1 second? No, podcast is just audio. Hold on. I have to show you something. Wait, don't go anywhere. Wait, don't go anywhere. Let me move my, wait. Back. Hold on. Let me move my lights back. Okay. Guess what? Oh, wait, I can't hear you. Hold on. So, you all hid. Yeah, actually, a bunch of costume things came back for Zeke. I have a bunch of costume things. Oh, elderly cat. And I can't show you everything because I want some things to be a surprise. Some things will be a surprise. Now, I'm a bit torn because I don't know if I'm going to use this mask or a yellow one that should be in the mail. But I also have got my prospector hat. So, and I'm all ready to be Zeke is what I'm trying to tell you. And I have a great superhero name. I'm gonna need Prospector X. And, you don't even know what amazingness is gonna happen. You don't even know. It is so amazing, but I need to spray paint this hat gold. So what I need to spray paint that hat gold. There we go. Oh, he's 17 years old. Oh my goodness. Wow. I know it's only audio, that's why I tend to listen to it. Oh, good. Yes. Oh, no. Oh, I'm so sorry, Krellin. Critwitch, you have questions? So this is a character that I am playing a character, Little Red Dot, who plays Dakota in the Vampire Masquerade game on rollforit.com. She is GMing a Fate game on the table, off the table. You can't imagine me old and wrinkly. Oh, I'm glad that he's eating again. I'm glad that he's eating again, Krellin. And it's a superhero game set in a small town in New Mexico in 1945, and I am playing a grizzled old prospector, Zeke Hart, a gold digger with a heart of gold. And I was wearing my flannel shirt last week, but I needed more costume pieces for it to really work out, including for his superhero costume. And it's true. And just for the record, I have two of these. I have this one right here, and I have a second one that's exactly the same as this one, and I'm going to spray paint one of them gold. And then I have some other things going on that will be scandalously awesome, and you don't even know it. That's all. Yeah, oh, yes. So I have two of these cowboy hats, and I've got this mask, and I've got a yellow one coming in as well, in case I like the yellow one better. And I have got other things. Yeah, what part of the what part of the state? I don't actually know, but I think it's an idea of where they're doing sort of nuclear testing. So, right, it's like a nuclear testing part of the state. Oh yeah. Oh, Oh, I look. Y'all can do what you want to do. I'm not the boss of you, but we're going to have our superhero reveals next Wednesday because the game is every other Wednesday, 4 sessions total on Off the Table. See. Oh no, I will get a mask. I will wear it. So here's the thing. I was looking it up, Krellin, and here's the best part about it is that New Mexico did have some gold, but really not much. Like there's very little gold in New Mexico, but there was some. And so here's Zeke, who had this like vision of a cave full of gold, and he's been searching for this cave of gold, you know, since the 1890s, really. And like, is he ever going to find it? Was it even ever real? I don't even know about that because, you know, it's not like New Mexico's a really big gold state. It isn't, which is what I think is kind of it tickles me. I think it's funny. It was like I was reading that there was some, but mostly as a byproduct of other things. It wasn't like a big, yeah. That's right, Silver City. But there was some gold. Not much, though. Like, really not much. So, like, I just kind of like it. He's going to be wearing the golden codpiece, and we'll see it because he's sitting. But you know, Volpez, you joke. There won't be a golden codpiece, but you just have to see the show. And I'll take a picture. When we're done. But I think we're going to get the costume reveal. I think we're going to get our powers next session. Yes. So I think we're going to get our superpowers next session, which is on Wednesday, coming up Wednesday. And I don't know if we're going to get a costume reveal, but I need to know because I need to make sure that I'm ready for my quick change. Have I watched Buster Scruggs? I have not watched Buster Scruggs, but I feel like I probably should. Gang, we're going to do a giveaway. Been wearing garb to Renfest for too many years. Oh, yeah. I bet maybe we are. Oh. It was apparently in like the middle of the desert and they just sort of built this fake town and this secret base. So, I like it. It's the town that changed its name to Truth or Consequences for the game show. Oh, really? Huh. By the way, we're going to give a giveaway. Our giveaway is Just Cause 3. And we're going to give a giveaway, so just say something in chat, and then we will do it. That's all. And also, we're totally going to play the game. This is what we're going to do. Y'all. But yes, I'm just telling you, right? Mask, also getting one in yellow in case... There's a town called Truth or Consequences here. It used to be... pre-1950 called Hot Springs. Huh. That's so funny. That is so funny. So the big question is, would the yellow mask be too much gold? It might be just fine, but it might not be. But I need to find out if I get to have my costume reveal on Wednesday. I hope so, because that costume reveal is going to be everything. Oh, yeah. Watch it. The Tom Waits vignette should be very inspirational for this character. Ooh, that sounds good. I don't remember where Hot Springs is, but I remember the name. Ooh, I didn't know that. I've always known of Truth or Consequences, but I've heard of Hot Springs. Weird. I guess it was from old people that I know. Maybe. Yeah, no, Lena's by. Also, oops, that wasn't it. Not as much vicinity as Alamogordo. Is this gonna work? We're going to play this. Oh no, we're not gonna play the game yet because I want to do a giveaway. Sorry, it was like, oh, we're gonna play. No. The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. I'm gonna write that down. And it's on Netflix. Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Okay. I refuse games. No game playing. Quit playing games on my stream. On my stream. Oh wait, Netflix. Let me write that down. Netflix, because I'll forget it. With all the music things Trevor knows are different than I believe. Will it make it 2 hours before the game? Maybe. I don't know. Games are the bane of Twitch. Oh, it's the last Coen Brothers movie. Oh. Oh. That is fair. All right, I'm going to find the winner, people. I'm calling out a winner. Winner. Winner, winner. Chicken dinner. Who's getting the giveaway? Who may I give the giveaway to? Tell me. Krellin? How are you feeling, Krellin? Krellin? Because Krellin doesn't always take games. Sometimes he refuses them, but sometimes he takes them, which usually makes me happy. Krellin, how are you feeling about it? Don't watch video games. If it's on Steam, which it isn't, you don't want it. Okay. Oh, is Steam being an app? Why? What is it doing? What is it doing? What are they doing? Krellin, tell me. Tell me. Second winner. Ice Bunny? Ice Bunny? Can you play video games? Can you do it? Hit it with a big hammer. Tell me. Ice Bunny, can you do it? Can you play video games? Oh. Oh. That's messed up, Krellin. I don't like that. Why aren't they, like, don't they have a return policy, though? That's weird. Also, I don't know why my headphone is being a little bit weird. Ice Bunny. Ice Bunny. Can I give you this game? Because you won the giveaway. Can I give it to you? I would like to do that. I would like to give you this game. Yes, like... Vampire has Iron Man saves. My save got deleted after 6-hour play. Oh. Oh, that sucks, Krellin. Also, Ice Bunny, I'm going to send you the link to Just Cause 3. And that makes me really happy. Thank you. Thank you, Ice Bunny. Good. And let me put you down right here. Because Ice Bunny, you haven't won something for a long time. Ice Bunny. Boom. It's not a horror game. It's an open world explosion game. No, it is not a horror game. It is not in any way a horror game. It is very much an open world explosion game. This is right. Yeah, it's kind of sandboxy. You run around and explode things. Third person, if I remember. Why did your Iron Man save get deleted? The main character of Just Cause? Really? No way. I didn't know that. Huh. Huh. That's interesting. But did it glitch because split splash guts flying is okay? That's the, yeah. I think it's a little bit cartoony. Like I don't think it's super guts everywhere. I think it's more like jump off of a plane onto a truck, roll a truck over, explode bad guys, sort of a thing. I played a little bit of the first one, which was very fun. Yeah, it's not like there's a lot of explosions, but it doesn't feel very graphic to me. Like if I remember Just Cause 1 a little bit, if I remember that correctly. Yes. My disabled envy buddy loves playing it as a stress reliever. Oh, yeah, like I think that people a lot of like it's I think about it a little bit like Crackdown as like sort of like a fun action game. Maybe also Saints Row, I don't know. But like one of these ones that's a little bit over the top, a little bit cinematic, right? Sort of like it's not going for realism is what I would say. Yeah, no, I will not give you a horror game. But yeah, it's not, yeah, it's sort of like a, yeah, right? Oh, you're welcome, my Spunny. It's a little Saints Row Crackdown where it's sort of cinematic, over the top, just sort of fun kind of a game where doesn't take itself too seriously, and you sort of just run around doing the business. That's what I think. Okay. No, didn't happen. Now, we're going to play, I swear, because I feel like we should probably play for an hour so that we're not lying about playing the game. The gimmick that differentiates this one is the main character has a grappling hook that he throws and swings on. Right, I think I saw footage of somebody grappling a plane. So I think that's Althea, and I don't know if we have the things we need to do this, but this man launches into a wild story about the newspaper that found the positive sides of the dust storms. Halfway through, he stops, recognizing the look on your face. Hey, Neo. I saw it being using a cow in creative ways. Why are Reddit communities so toxic? I don't know if that's how it was in Just Cause 1, but definitely mechanic was in 2 and 3. You know, it's funny because which communities are you talking about, Neo? I don't hang out in a lot of places in Reddit, but the ones that I hang out tend to be less irritating. But which ones, Neo? I am interested in knowing. Which places? So we're going to, yeah, this is correct, Colin. The good Reddits are the ones with strong moderation. Yeah. I don't know if we have what we need for her. Let's see if we can have any stories that might be where she likes, I feel like I wrote this down. Where did I write it down? Cowboy hat? I wrote it down in everything. Well, that's fine. Ooh. Oh. Ooh. TV show Reddits I think would probably be awful. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. No, I can't imagine that Reddit for TV shows would be good. That's like, yeah. Yeah. You know what? We're just gonna talk to her and see if what we can do. At least we'll get a sense of, oh my gosh.
There's a song called Good Rockin' Tonight, written
Whoa.
by Roy Brown. When I heard it, I thought, there ain't nothing special.
Whoa. Like, you had to have the 2 bad seasons for season 3 to be as good as it was, but I'm honestly not sure it's worth it in our current culture. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that is, yeah. Okay, so we've got Althea in her final mode, maybe. That's her. Whoa. Ooh. All right, let's figure out what we can do.
Sounds like a gospel, but it's about making love. Ain't the sort of thing they play on the radio. And I heard it again. Winona Harris sang it. Then it was something else.
By the way, the Winona Harris version is from the 40s. Good Rockin' Tonight is one of these songs that, so like people will say that rock and roll starts in 54, which is stupid, whatever. It's fine. There's a way in which it's true, but it's ways in which it's, hello, me teaching history of rock and roll. Like if we had a culture with less isms, the magicians would have been really good. But in a culture with so many isms, the 2 seasons that reinforced those isms probably did more damage than season 3 healed. Oh, that's really interesting, Krellin. Yeah. Yeah. It's really tricky, right? If we had more representation, there are a lot of things would be fine. But when we don't, then it becomes problematic to have that be the only representation. Yeah. Yeah. Krellin, I'm going to take what you said. I'm going to think about that for a while. I think about those things a lot. I'm just going to ponder that some more. Yeah, I probably need to watch Magicians. if I have time. So Wynonie Harris is a rhythm and blues player, a guitar player, and he did a bunch of songs in the 40s. He's part of like the jump blues scene, rhythm and blues, jump blues of the 40s that predates rock and roll, but is basically the sound of rock and roll. Like, because really, rock and roll is rhythm and blues with a little bit of country marketed towards white teenagers. Oh, well then I'll just do that. If I can do that, then I'll do that. Anio, thank you for the tip. But it's a good one. It's a good tune.
Then I knew exactly the deal Wynonie made.
Oh, in The Magicians, Margot is the High Queen of Quasi-Narnia, and she basically runs the place the whole time, but she has to act in the High King's name for the first 2 seasons. In season 3, she wins the election because of the magical creature vote, though. Hey, drummer boy, how are you? Right now we're listening to Althea talk about A Deal with the Devil, and she's talking about Wynonie Harris and the song Good Rockin' Tonight, is what is happening in the game. And we're talking about magicians. So there is a Narnia, a quasi-Narnia. I thought... The only thing I really know about the Magicians is based on a book series, and that it is... what I've been told is that it's Harry Potter in college, with more sex, drugs, and rock and roll, i.e. magic. But that's all I know.
Ooh, now I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it.
I'll do my best. Like, that was hilarious. They finally elect the leader of Fillory, and magic creatures, being sentient, get a vote, and they outnumber humans 10 to 1. Okay, so she wants tragedy. Let's see if I have any tragic stories that I can tell her. But she wants tragedy, but I think she probably wants it to be true, so not supernatural. Harry Potter has sex with Narnia, essentially. It starts out as Harry Potter in college, and then it goes all Narnia on acid. Her final form is really cool, right? Oh, the only reason people would tell you it's Harry Potter is because they're not familiar with Narnia. It's way more Narnia. Interesting. Ducks in the Hotel Fountain. Man who could soothe animals on a bad trip. Lighthouse. So I think to be safe here, I should probably just go with the name people's stories. Oh no, the man on the beach despairing about the future. I have high hopes for season 4 and 5. So actually, I have a lot of stories I can tell people that I think will be fine. I'm going to tell the story of Ray's Lament. There was a musical episode?
That's like a song. Pretty and sad. What's freedom to me? Some say that when we end, that's freedom.
She's a statue.
I wish I could find comfort in the notion of death. But I know what waits for me beyond the veil.
Oh. Who's Quentin? Who's Quentin?
Those sunken eyes like a deep, dark pit.
Oof.
Ooh, now I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Oh, the main dude? Oh, what is his deal? You know? I think I'm gonna go with, I think what I'm gonna do is just go for the stories.
I drink to that. Fortune. Mine is all bad.
Oh, so he's a Fillory nerd and clinically depressed. Interesting.
Think I was born cursed. There was never a happy ending for me. I die alone no matter what path I took at that crossroads.
Hmm.
Ooh, now I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it.
All she wants is tragedy, my friends. But I got stories I can tell. The story of the gunshot man outside the saloon in the Southwest, that seems like a tragedy. But he's been pushed to the background because he's boring. Ooh, ouch. I'm gonna just go with stories of people, because I feel like that might get me.
Now that pain. Sadness. Well, you ever wake up already silently screaming in your head?
Oh my goodness, Althea.
Have you ever begged for 10 cents? You ever bite your nails to the quick? You ever look at a flower and hate it? Ooh, now I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it.
Wow. With the devil holding onto her, whispering in her ear, of course, she just wants tragedy. Of course. Of course. And all she wants is tragedy. I'm going to ask about joy. Or maybe love? Can I talk about love with you, maybe? I'll admit that making Quentin buy does make him a bit more interesting. She is not a happy bunny, B-Boodle. Can you tell me something about love, maybe? Will that work for you?
I'd drink to that. Love? What? You need a soul to love? I don't think I'm capable of it anymore.
Whew.
Ooh, now I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it.
Yeah, my friend. I'm going to talk about Shaw's life and times.
Oh, now that pain.
Yes. I think we completed her story.
Authority. Well, when the world don't want you, you can't tell people to fuck off no more.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's back to yes, sir, and no, sir. I don't play like that.
No, you do not.
So here I am. So I lay me here, guitar in one hand, bottle in the other. I wanted to be the best blues singer in the world, but the world left me.
I want to talk about that comment right there, because this is where my music history nerd comes in.
The devil don't give even deals. He knows you better than you know yourself. The devil gave me everything. But he took everything, too. There's no running left in me. Don't weep for me. I will die here. Those young bucks, they don't even know why they strum like that now.
Oh, wow. It's the 1960s is what I think.
Listen here. It was me. It was me who made this world. That's all I have now, and I need you to know this. I made the world that ruined me.
Wow.
So are we done here? I done laid myself bare for you. That's all there is to me now. My drink, my smoke, my guitar, my gutted body. You got something to say to me, or am I gonna have to play it out of you?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so let me tell you what she's talking about. Welcome to History of African American Music by Professor Trooper SJP, or History of Rock and Roll by Professor Trooper SJP. So she gives her soul to become the best blues guitarist there is. I'm thinking that she's doing this in the 30s and 40s, right? She talks about, no. If she heard Wynonie Harris playing Good Rockin' Tonight, and then she knew what deal he made, that means it's probably the late 40s that she makes this deal with the devil. And then she becomes the best blues guitarist there is in the world. And so in this story, clearly she's sort of basically creating what is going to be rock and roll with her way of playing. And she becomes famous and big and huge. But when we go from rhythm and blues to rock and roll, all those black people are pushed out of the industry. Right, there's a space in early rock and roll from like, let's say 54 to like 60, where there's still a space for black artists. But once we hit the British invasion in 64, although, you know, around 1960 it starts, but really the British invasion, we just push black people out of rock and roll. And then you get Led Zeppelin playing Willie Dixon, but not Willie Dixon, or playing Muddy Waters, but not Muddy Waters. And so all of these black artists that had jobs that were, you know, playing what we would now call rock and roll, but in the late 40s, early 50s, into the late 50s even, they all get pushed out of the industry because nobody wants to hear black music from black artists anymore. They want to hear them from white British artists. And so here in this story, here's Althea, who is like, in this story, the architect of rock and roll, that she creates this sound. And that's when she says people don't even know why they, like, I made that sound. People don't know what these young bucks don't even know why they strum like they do, right? But they're copying her, and then they are no longer wanted. Yeah, I made the world that ruined me is a very powerful statement. Yes, they are. And they're doing all these, yeah. And what's interesting about that to me is that, I mean, that happened, right? Like, that happened to a lot of artists who were like, they were these artists, they had all these jobs, and then we no longer wanted them anymore. And that entire style, you know, they don't get to have space. And that's, you know, that's heavy. Hey, Reign of Terror. Oh, my pleasure. Do you know the song Love is Strange that was in Dirty Dancing? You know, it goes, hey, Sylvia, how do you call your lover boy? Well, I say, come here, lover boy. If he doesn't answer, well, I say, oh, lover boy. If he still doesn't answer, then I simply say, baby, oh, baby, my sweet baby, you're the one. You know that song? That's what I do on my streams. No. Selling your soul for the devil comes from, that was a mythology around Robert Johnson, the 1930s blues player. The story is that Robert Johnson went into the woods, that he couldn't play the guitar. He goes in the woods. He comes back 6 months later, and then he's an amazing guitar player because he sold his soul to the devil. Really, he just practiced. But, you know, that's the story. Yeah. Yes. Right, so that song is Love is Strange by Mickey and Sylvia. And hold that for a moment. So Mickey and Sylvia's Love is Strange. And then the other song is, that I want you to think of is Love is Strange by Mickey and Sylvia. And then Shirley Goodman did Shirley and Lee. So there's another 1950 song by Shirley and Lee, which is where she does, yeah, that's right. And of course, yeah, it goes, I mean, the story Selling Your Soul to the Devil goes way back. I mean, you can even think, in some ways, you can think about Orpheus. The Orpheus story, in some ways, goes by ancient Greek mythology. Yeah, like that particular thing keeps coming around. So then there's Shirley and Lee, who did the song Let the Good Times Roll, also from the 50s. That's the one that goes, come on, baby, let the good times roll. Come on, baby, let me through your soul. Come on, baby, let the good times roll. Roll all night long. Right? So that one. So these two people, it's sort of like a man and a woman, these two pairs, sort of both black people, both sort of pairs of African Americans in the 50s who are part of rock and roll, who had hits, who were doing their stuff. And then when the British invasion comes and black people are pushed out of rock and roll, Chuck Berry's arrested, Little Richard gets Jesus and decides to leave rock and roll. Lots of people just lose their jobs, stop getting signed. Those two artists get pushed out. And I think Towson did learn music from elves, I think. Oh no, the Celtic Scald. I think he did, actually. Hey, Cert Saiyan. So here's what's interesting. If you go forward in time, right, so basically throughout the entire 60s and into the 70s, right, yeah, you just basically get these artists pushed out. And it's interesting. I'm going to come back to Shirley and Lee and Mickey and Sylvia for a moment. Ike and Tina Turner, Yes, that is exactly correct, Krellin. Making a deal with elves is basically making a deal with the devil. And hey, Cert. Tina Turner, Ike and Tina Turner, right? So Ike Turner, before he married Tina Turner, had a band called Ike Turner's Rhythm Kings, And they did a song in 1950, 51 maybe, called... it was called Rocket 88. And it was a song about a car, and it was the first song with distorted guitar in it. And it was the distorted guitar happened because the guitar player, his amp fell and it ripped the cones, and so then you got this distorted sound, but he couldn't replace it, so they just recorded this with they just made this, he just recorded it. And so you get this. So Rocket 88 has the first distorted guitar, and it also is about a car. And the thing is, it is recorded by Sam Phillips from Sun Records. And Sam Phillips cannot distribute it, so he sells the song to Chess Records. Chess Records releases the song, but changes the name of the band. So it's no longer Turner's Rhythm Kings, it's now Jackie Brunson and the Delta Cats. And this song becomes a big hit, and people will say that this is the first rock and roll song. There's like a big debate about what is the first rock and roll song. People go back and forth. It's sort of whatever. It's sort of stupid. I think that you can't have a first rock and roll song, so I'm not really into that. But people will say that this particular song, Rocket 88, is the first rock and roll song. Why is this important? Because it was actually Ike Turner who did it. So Ike Turner can make a claim that he's the first rock and roll artist, which I think is stupid, but it's fine. So Ike and Tina are doing all this early rock and roll. They're doing all this stuff. And then the British invasion folks are sort of obsessed with Ike and Tina Turner. Mick Jagger, we are playing the game, I swear. So Mick Jagger, all those moves like Jagger, those are actually Tina Turner's moves. He learned how to dance by copying her. So all these sort of British invasion artists sort of like, and Ike and Tina, actually they opened for the Stones, I think twice. They're all sort of obsessed with them. But what ends up happening is that people don't want to hear the music by them, right? They don't want Ike and Tina. They want British artists doing Ike and Tina, but they don't want Ike and Tina themselves. Yeah, the first ex-artist to do a thing is dumb. No one's the first art. Yeah, right. Artist living thing. It's totally dumb. Isn't Who considered pop? Isn't Who considered pop? Life is totally the same. So if you think about Proud Mary, right, which is originally by the Creedence Clearwater Revival, when Creedence Clearwater Revival does Proud Mary, it's called a rock song. When Ike and Tina do it, they get the Grammy for like best R&B vocals. So when they do it because they're black, it's no longer rock anymore because black people have been pushed out of rock. No, he's not considered pop. He's considered, he's one of the people, no, they're not considered pop. They'd be considered, well, they got the Grammy for best R&B. So they'd be considered either rhythm and blues, R&B, or rock, depending on who you ask, but not pop. Yeah, the Turner version was so much better, but they don't get rock for it. And so this is amazing. They did an album called Out of Season, and on the cover of the album, it's Ike and Tina in whiteface holding watermelons, right? So like they've got them with these like big watermelons, but in whiteface. And they're trying to make a comment about the ways in which white British artists are taking their stuff. And everybody wants the white British artist. So if they want to be popular, they have to sort of like do this weird, like, whiteface thing. Yes, Krellin, this is actually correct. R&B just means black music because music genres are racist, and that is 100% true. My music trivia for the day was that the song Piece of My Heart was originally written and done by Aretha Franklin's sister Irma. Yes. Yeah, and actually a number of Janis Joplin's tunes are like a couple of them were by Big Mama Thornton, who did the original Hound Dog that Elvis became famous for. And also a bit of trivia, the term rhythm and blues was invented by John Hammond in 1949 or 39. 49, 39, 39, 39? 39? Not all, well, oh, you said music popular, so maybe. I think 39, that sounds about right. I think it's 1939 because 49 would be too late. So before 1939, there were 3 charts three Billboard charts: the pop chart, the hillbilly chart, and the race music chart. Those are the three charts: pop, hillbilly, and race. And the race music chart was for all black music. It didn't matter what the music sounded like. If you were a black person, you were on the race chart. If you were poor and Southern or Western, Southern and or Western and white, you'd be on the hillbilly chart. And then everything else would go on the pop chart. I've not seen the movie Be Cool. Is it good? I should see it, right? I probably should see it. And I'm going to write it down. And John Hammond in 39, I'm pretty sure, because I don't think it was 49. That sounds too late for me. Decided that hillbilly and country and hillbilly and race were probably a little bit too insensitive. It might have been 49. Now I need to check. 39 or 49? Wikipedia. Do you know Wikipedia? Maybe you don't know. John Hammond, record producer. Okay. Oh, that's right. Be Cool is related to Get Shorty. That's right. Let me see if I can. I don't want to give you the wrong date, right? That is a thing that I do not want to do. So let me see if I can find it. But it's way better. Oh. Billboard. So maybe it wasn't John Hammond. Maybe I'm thinking about. What am I thinking about? Hold on. I have to look this up, everybody, because it will distract me. Will this be an exam? A lot of country stems from Appalachian music, from the Irish. Actually, you know who was in the Appalachia, by the way? Black people. About 30% of the Appalachia was black before the 1920s. So there was historically a lot of racial mixing and dialogue in the Appalachia. And actually, country music is actually a mix of, see, now you're getting me all distracted again. And you're going to make me want to, it's fine. Let me see, etymology. Jerry Wexler. Sorry, it wasn't John Hammond, it was Jerry Wexler. And I was right, it was 48. Yeah. It was 49. So Jerry Wexler did it. So race music and hillbilly music was like a little bit dicey. So in 48, Jerry Wexler invented two new terms to replace those terms. And so they replaced hillbilly with country and western, and they replaced race music with rhythm and blues. But it just basically meant the same thing. Like if you were a black person, you were rhythm and blues no matter what. And then if you were either country and or western, then it was right, no longer hillbilly, but country and western. Yeah. So if you have a Prime Video, look up A Story of Sahel Sounds. Oh, I'm gonna write that down too. A story of, I love recommendations, and spring break is coming up, so I can do it. That's right. Appalachia was an easy place for escaped slaves to run during the war, since West Virginia exists due to poor whites going. Yes, and also the Appalachia was there were major stops in the Underground Railroad in the Appalachia, so a bunch of escaped slaves just ended up staying in the Appalachia, and that was a place. So like there was a lot of the number of blacks left the Appalachia basically with the Great Migration, but there was like and so there was a lot of. So for example. Bill Monroe, who's the founder of bluegrass, said he learned how to play mandolin from an old black guy in his neighborhood. And if you look at somebody like Doc Boggs, this old white dude, he's singing blues. And if you listen to old black string band music, of which there's not a lot left, but like old banjo and black string band music, it doesn't sound very different from hillbilly music because they're all hillbillies together. You know what I mean? There's like a lot of exchange and interchange, but that's not the story we want to tell. We don't want to tell the story of black and white people, living together. And so folklorists, the Lomaxes and the Seegers, when they went into the mountains to record people, and they were like, hey, ancient white person, like a lot of folklorists were really sketchy because they wanted to imagine that the Appalachia was a place where people still spoke Shakespearean English, and it was like some kind of all white Celtic space. And so they'd ask, play your ancient music, and they would play like blues, and they were like, oh, let's not record that. And then they'd go and find black people, and they're like, oh, black people, play your old dirty blues, and they'd play like string band music, and they're like, oh, that's not what we want to record either. So there's been a lot more exchange historically amongst sort of oppressed peoples in the Appalachia that folklorists were not very interested in. So, the Irish were not white back then. They didn't become white until a little bit later. But the thing is that in the folklorists were part of the process of making Irish people white. And by the time we get to the 1890s, they're sort of more that's like we're sort of moving around there. They're moving into whiteness, but a lot of the folklorists wanted to imagine sort of Anglo-Celtic stuff as a kind of there was a bit of a shift. They were not originally white. They were originally actually African, according to scientific racists, whose science is very bad. They have very bad science. And then going through a process of sort of changing their race. I wish we could just stop with this white stuff because it's just slave or code for somehow better than slave. So please, yeah. Oh no, there's some really amazing, scientific drawings. They may be pale, but according to scientific racists from the 19th century, they're actually Africans. And there's this really great picture that I have. It's a drawing that shows an Anglo head, and then an Irish head, a Celtic head, and then an African head, and they're both all looking in profile. And it's this whole thing if you look at Irish people's noses, they clearly have an African nose. And note, Irish people have curly hair like Africans. So clearly Irish people are actually Africans who somehow moved from Africa into Ireland, and therefore there's a whole bunch of super racist stuff framing Irish people as actually black. I mean, it's pretty. Yeah, I mean, scientific racism, it's not great. You know what I mean? It's not particularly, scientific racists. Yeah, but it's not just about skin color, right? It's about, scientific racists they were doing a whole other thing, and they did not like Irish people because Irish people were immigrants, right? The big wave of Irish migration was the 1860s, and nativists were like, what are these foreign black people coming to our shores? So there's a lot of scientific racists are bad, everybody. So you can be pale and not be considered white. And as a matter of fact, that's also true, right? Our story is the most convoluted tweet, so it must be correct, right? And you're like, what are you even thinking? What are you thinking? Yeah, it is, right? Yeah, so there was a lot of really interesting stuff, though, with that. And I'm weird in that I'm descended from the potato Irish and the small contingent of rich Irish that helped found the nation. Oh, that's really interesting. Oh, that's interesting, Krellin. Yeah, I was just, in class, not this class session, because this class session we were talking about soft rock and singer-songwriters, but last class on Tuesday, we were talking about the white ethnic movement in the United States and the death of white ethnic radio and newspapers. And so we were listening to, Maureen O'Hara, When Irish Eyes Are Smiling, and Arrivederci Roma by Mario Lanza, and Knock Around the Clock by Mickey Katz, and Just Because by Frankie Yankovic. So just looking at all the different white ethnic groups in the U.S. and what happened to white ethnic identity post World War II and assimilation, and we're talking about it. It is a field of bull. Yep, C. Volpes, this is true, and we were talking about that. So we were talking all about the ways that whiteness itself is slippery, right? And how a lot of people that we now might think of as being white were just not white for a really long time, and that some of them still may not always be white depending on the moment. And so we were just sort of thinking about sort of the push towards assimilation of white ethnics into the larger American, but that assimilation is not symmetrical, right? So it is not that you get to keep your culture, you have to give up your culture, but then you don't actually get much for it. So we were talking about all that stuff. It was very interesting. And I was very excited by it. Because, you know... But see, the thing is, whiteness isn't real, right? Whiteness is a made-up thing. But I tan into a POC. Like, whiteness is a made-up category that was not made up very long ago. It's a fairly recent category that is a fiction. So we have to find more people to talk to, by the way. There's somebody in Georgia. Do we want to talk to people in Georgia? I think we should talk to new people. Who should we talk to? There are a lot of people we could talk to, everyone. And a lot of stories we haven't even found yet. Who should we talk to? I think we should go back up to the Northeast. Let's see if we can take like a train, or we can hitchhike maybe and meet some people over there. I think that's what we should do. Let's head east. Large genre buckets. Why do I have no music going on is my question. Oh, actually there is music. I just can't hear it. Oh yeah, Kant made up all sorts of crap. Yeah, so that's the funny thing, that like race isn't actually about color, right? That's not what it's about. It's about all sorts, because if race were about color, we'd be doing things differently, but we don't. We just... I'm gonna make it over to Cincinnati and see if I can take see if I can rest, but then see if I can maybe take a train or something somewhere, or get a ride out east. Is what I'm thinking. Can we get there? I think whiteness comes from two areas: Anglo-Saxon colonialism and German imperialism. Yes, but also it also comes from US weird slavery things. So yeah, there's like weird slavery things that also impacts whiteness. So I need to go to the store. And I need to get some whiskey. Which is good. And then I need to earn some money. You wander the streets of the city looking for a way to make some cash. I'll look for work. You hit 4 factories, but nobody's hiring today. Soon you notice you're cruising around the city with the same loose group of rejected laborers, coughing men in baggy clothes, women with babies tied to their backs, an older fellow with only one hand. Nobody wants us. After the 5th factory, everybody makes a silent agreement to give up. You sit on the curb, across from the factory doors, and eat your sad little lunch together in silence. Screw this city, huh? Move on. Oh, man. I have no money, and now I can't take the train. You know what, Jared? That's fair. Lumping American slavery into the closing, though, that's fair. That's fair. Because it's all part of that same process. That's totally fair. I buy it. I wanted to take the train. But I couldn't. Dang it. Dang it. Dagnabbit. Yeah. Because, you know, oops. Because before, people they didn't think of race in the same way. Listen to this, blurts a boy loitering outside this grocery store. He works his way through a long and strange story of the beautiful ghost who haunts the women of a hotel. There, he finishes. What do you think? Wait a minute. Holy shit, you know this story. It's the story of the woman murdered by her lover, but wildly altered. For a couple of moments, you're too surprised to respond. Seriously, the boy insists. What do you think about that one? I'll say, it's a great story. He smiles sheepishly. Thanks, he says. I heard it from my brother. Alright. We need to head east and see if I can get it's a little bit awkward because I have no money, and I would like money, but I don't have it. Capitalism. Capitalism. But we'll make our way. You know what? I think we have to make our way on the other side of this river, though, to be honest. Because otherwise, I think we'll get stuck. I think we're going to get stuck. Yes. Oh, Louisiana. I wish I could have made some money. But alas, alack and alack. I hope this is the right side of the river to be on. I'll be sad if I make my way all the way over to that space and am stuck on the wrong side of the river with no passage. I wonder if I can catch a ride on a car. But probably not. Do you know, in, what do you call it? South Africa, during the time of apartheid, people were categorized as one of three races, black, white, or colored, and you could change your race. Usually it was not voluntary and it was never upwards. But because you could only live in places designated for your race, hi Charleston, because of that, right, you could only live in places designated for your race. If a person who was, say, white married a black person, they had to become black because they would have to live in black spaces and they couldn't live in white spaces anymore. Oh, dagnabbit! Thanks, Sert! Now I feel excited by this. Dagnabbit! That makes me happy.
Moonless night. This beach is long, stretching toward a receding sea. In the darkness, the sand seems coarse and gray, alien. The stars are dim and distant.
Huh. Interesting. Let's look to the horizon.
It outshines the stars with its presence, a streak of sickly colored light, leaving a trail of distorted fire. It slowly creeps along the sky like a vast worm, though you know that, given the distance, it must be moving at great speed.
We're gonna keep looking at the sky, because we make bad choices because we're a skeleton.
Its parabola heads south to north. In the far distance, just for a second,
New Orleans is so
the
interesting.
boardwalk town is engulfed in light. With a rumble, its street lamps and windows dim, then go dark. All that you can see emanating from there is an otherworldly color that you can't quite name.
Well, you know, actually, speaking of New Orleans, this is really interesting, which is also related to jazz. Because, you know, I sometimes teach a history of jazz. I don't teach it at the university that I teach at. I used to teach it. I used to teach a history of jazz, but somebody else teaches it right now, so I don't get to teach it here, which makes me sad. But, you know, New Orleans is not coming out of the British system because it was, you know, held by the Spaniards and the French. And they had a different way of categorizing things racially. And they had, right, black, white, and Creole as separate categories. The new exhibitions in Louisiana are interesting, so we'll go and look at them. Right, so they actually they didn't even just have black, white, and Creole. They also had like octoroons and quadroons. Like if you were 1/4 black, you were a quadroon. If you were 1/8 black, you were an octoroon. And these were all considered separate races, right? Like if you were a Creole, you were not considered the same race as a black person or a white person. You were a separate race altogether. And Creoles in New Orleans had a different culture than blacks in New Orleans. They were not the same. Creoles would be francophone, blacks were anglophone. Creoles played different music, had different musical training than blacks. Creoles tended to sort of play quadrilles and have traditional music training, and blacks did not, did more improvisation. And then if you know Plessy versus Ferguson, which was the case that enshrined segregation into law, that happened in Louisiana, where a man named Plessy, who was a Creole. So basically, yeah, right? And then what ended up happening was that they sort of started instituting segregation post-Civil War, right? This is for black people, this is for white people. But when you live in a place where there's more than two categories, what do you do? And so this guy named Plessy went into the white train car because they sort of segregated trains, and he sat in the white train car, and he was a Creole, right? He was Creole, and he looked completely white, and he sat in the white train car, and they said, by the way, everyone, I just want you to know that I'm Creole. So then they arrested him, but nobody had given him any trouble because he looked like a white person, but he said that he was Creole, so they arrested him, and that is when we get the 1 drop rule, saying that if you have 1 drop of black blood, you're considered black as for segregation purposes. And so then all of those Creoles of color who had not been considered black were now legally black. And that sort of the kind of the mixing of Creole culture and black culture together is one of the things that gives us jazz. Excitement. Right? That's interesting. Yeah, we have a very complicated. So yeah, the thing I explained, you could look like a white person and in the United States be legally a black person. Yeah, that is a messed up ruling. And that was like, they're like, A, segregation is fine. And B, if you have 1 drop of black blood, then you are black. It's like, I think it's 1/40th. It wasn't like actually 1 drop, but it was like 1/40th or 1/32nd blackness. Then you count legally as a black person, and then segregation, right? So yeah, I'm just saying. There's a story. What is the story? Rick, a credulous-seeming fellow, starts telling you a story about the cosmic nexus of interdimensional terror in a farmhouse cellar. You realize it's the story of the indescribable horror living in the farmhouse cellar, but changed in a few major ways. It's definitely part bullshit, right? But also a little real? We're going to say that it's not bullshit. Still a field of... Well, yeah. Isms are just a field of bullshit. That's what they are. They're not good. They're bad. Half the group groans. How the hell is that supposed to be a real story? Exclaims the man who waved you down. You're all the most gullible pieces of shit I've ever met. The other half of the group, vindicated, shares a bottle of pop with you. Oh, hey, that story is all maxed out. Also, there are a bunch of people I can talk to around this area. And there's somebody on the other end of that river. So, I actually want to talk to these people, but it looks like there's not another river crossing until a little bit further down the road, and I think I'm going to be kind of screwed over a little bit on that one. So let's just follow the river. I probably should not have crossed the river when I did. That's a bummer. But we're going to talk to some people because we're going to be very productive in our game playing, by the way. Just so you know. We're like all productive all the time. We got Althea, got the rest of her story, and thought about like appropriation and history in the United States. This game is very well written, everybody. I understand why it was nominated for excellence in narrative. Got a lot done in the half hour. Yeah, we got like so much done in that last half hour. I'm proud of ourselves, right? Kickstarts a time machine big enough to bring 23andMe back in time to do NES tests on all the jerk-faced races. Oh, but you know why we have the 1 drop rule, right? Slavery. Right? Because, and this is actually the difference between the British system and the French system. In the French system, if your mother was free, then you were free. Right? So there's a way, like, mixed race children were not necessarily slaves under the French system. It was called the Code Noir. But in the English system, if one of your parents were a slave, then you were also a slave. Yeah, plus versus Virgin rest too big. Yeah. So the thing is, if you want to keep having slaves, you have to say that if you have any black blood, then you are black. Because if slavery is based on blackness, which is what American chattel slavery was based on, mixed race people have to be black so that you can keep them as slaves. Because if they are then no longer black, then they no longer are automatically enslaved. So, right? So our system of racial categorization for blackness, wherein whiteness can be lost, but blackness can never be lost, is part of reinforcing slavery. Yeah. Yes, right? I mean, New Orleans is a very different place. And then also, New Orleans was so different because of the large people from Cuba, Mexico, the Caribbean that are there. Like, it's a really different and interesting. Also, it's a huge major port city. So there's a lot going on there that made New Orleans really fascinating. Also interesting is that in the English parts of the United States, they banned playing of drums after a couple of slave rebellions where they thought that Africans were using drums to sort of signal the slave rebellion. So it became illegal for black people to play drums in a lot of the English sort of colonies in the US, which is one of the reasons why black music in the United States, don't count New Orleans, doesn't have the same kind of rhythmic content as black music in the Caribbean or Brazil or the rest of the Americas, because in the rest of the Americas, black people were still allowed to play drums, but here they weren't, so you end up getting more sort of like guitar, banjo stuff. But in New Orleans, they were not, that was not an English colony, so black people were allowed to play drums in New Orleans much later than the rest of the United States, in Congo Square, which went probably until the end of the 19th century. So if you look at a lot of the rhythmic style coming out of New Orleans, like New Orleans jazz, part of what that is because there was more African retention in New Orleans than other parts of the United States. But also New Orleans rhythm and blues has a very different rhythmic content. So there's a lot more syncopation and rhythmic play coming out of music coming out of New Orleans because of the fact that black people in New Orleans were allowed to play drums for a longer time period. So they're able to retain more of the kind of polyrhythms so funk, right? So funk is coming out of what style was invented by whites in the 20th or 21st century? Ooh, invented in the 20th or 21st century. In the 20th or 21st century. Invented by. Not that. With no influence. Right, yes. Well, because there's a difference between invented and carried over, right? So the thing is, there's music that I don't think has anything to do with black people that may not have been invented exactly in the 20th century. So for example, a lot of the white ethnic music that I was playing in class on Tuesday, right? So a lot of polka music, there was like a whole sort of bunch of... No, I was not carrying over classical. I was just thinking about, so like polka music. There was a lot of sort of like bel canto Italian style stuff. Yiddish theater. There's like a lot of stuff in the earliest 20th century that I would think of. I can't go with that because that still has ragtime influences. But it's hard because once ragtime hits really in the 1890s, that has such a big influence in the United States. No, not metal. A lot of those metal bands, a lot of the original metal bands were actually originally blues bands, so that's not going to work out for you either. Yeah, so I'd say like there's a bunch of polka stuff. There's some Italian bel canto stuff. Yeah, right. Metal is still really, exactly. And like Judas Priest was a blues band originally, so that's not going to work out. Actually, I think Iron Maiden was too. A bunch of those British metal bands, initial British metal bands, were blues bands. And then when you think about punk, you've got Death. So there's like some early proto-punk that is also done by black people as well. So that's tricky. And of course, electronic dance music's coming out of disco and also Detroit techno, and that's also black. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with polka. There's some polka stuff like Lawrence Welk and Frankie Yankovic and people like that. Atonal music, yes, but that falls under classical, so that's a little bit tricky. Because if we want to say not classical music, I'm gonna go with polka, sort of pop polka stuff. I'll go with some of the bel canto Italian stuff. That's a little bit tricky, but you might be able to sort of make a case for that. Not Zydeco. Country and Western doesn't really count because you're getting Western and the West is also not really all white. And also it's kind of like a mixed space. Folk revival in the 60s. The Norwegian cult of black metal is sort of made by white people, but also, yeah, folk revival that's basically doing child ballads, right? So the kind of folk revival stuff that's basically Anglo-Saxon and Celtic folk songs. So let's say Celtic revival stuff, polka, folk revival stuff, some Italian style crooning. Oh, totally. Jer, I totally agree with you. I think it does. So Weird Al and Enya. Yeah? Yeah? Yes. So Weird Al and Enya. And, like, some Pete Seeger stuff. Yeah. So it's not a lot because, I mean, in Europe, there's more stuff that I think that you could sort of go to, but in the United States, it's really hard. In the United States, it's really, really hard to find stuff that has not been influenced by Afro-Latin stuff at all. Like, that is hard to do. There's some stuff. Weird Al and Enya, and although Enya's not American, awkward. She has made... Well, one of the reasons why she's never toured Drummer Boy is because she can't. Because she does everything, like, everything that you hear is made by her. So, like, that's not necessarily something that she can do touring-wise. And it's true, a lot of modern European stuff is very American influence, so it comes back around again. It's true. Yeah, it's true. Spanish flamenco, that's right. It's Mari and Moorish people together, right? So that's tricky too, right? He does take influence from everything, but he does have things that are more squarely polka only. Yeah, and so there's a lot of European stuff that is also not, because also the concept of whiteness is made up. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is a made up thing. Oh, that is true. Nowadays she could. The technology is there nowadays for that to happen. But then why would she do it? Right? Yeah. But she's, I'm not going to talk smack about Enya. Yeah, his original stuff is the polkas, because that's where he did that. There probably is also, yes, and those are trying to be copies, and that's different, right? And he copies them very well. He's very good at what he does. And I think it's tricky because you might want to think like, oh, okay, something like, because we were doing like some of the singer-songwriters, some of the soft rock, you might think, oh, well, the Carpenters, they're super white. And you're like, well, but Karen Carpenter uses blue notes. Do you know what I mean? So like even that's, no, because grunge comes from rock. There's a lot of blue notes in that stuff. Is she really? Oh, good for her. Devo said that Did Be Stupid does Devo better than Devo. That's pretty amazing. Yeah, that's the problem with grunge, that grunge is coming out of rock, so therefore it still has its roots in black music. And again, that distorted guitar, right, comes from the guitarist for Ike Turner's band, and also Jimi Hendrix, you know what I mean? So yeah, so that's not going to work either. And I think that like there might be... yeah, it is. What is a blue note? Why are you asking me these questions? So, in music theory, hello. So, Western music post 1750. Let me tell you how it works. Before 1750, Western music does not work this way. Some English music does, but generally speaking, it's a different system before 1750-ish. Although I just heard a really great talk about how we're getting tonality in the late 17th century in England. But high note is German Schlager. Yeah, that's right. Nirvana played Leadbelly. So in the tonal system, starting around 1750, although we could say it goes back a little bit earlier, we have a system where there are 8 notes in a scale, and you know those notes: do, a deer, a female deer, re, a drop of golden sun, me, a name I call myself, far along the way to run, so I need a pulling thread. La, a note that follows so. Ti, a drink with jam and bread, which brings us back to so, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? So do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do are the 8 notes of a major scale, which is how tonality works. And in tonality, you have those 8 notes. I understand that. And you can put numbers on top of those notes. So instead of saying so, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the 8 is back to 1, so the 8 is a 1. And in the tonal system, 1 is the most important note that exists. And almost all of tonal music is about starting at 1, going far away from 1, which is the 5, and then coming back to 1. And in between 1 and 5, you usually do like a 2 or a 4. So you do 1, 4, 5, 1, if you've heard that chord progression, or 1, 2, 5, 1. But it's all about 1 being the most important note, 5 being the most distant note. You start there, you go on a journey, you go to the 5, and then you come back home to 1, and you end up being changed. And in a scale, those are the scale notes that you have. But other musical systems, he's Schlager, right? He's German Schlager. So in African systems, they don't use that. And actually not just African systems, a number of musical systems don't use that system. They use different systems. And in the African system, they don't use that scale. So they have other notes that go in, which we will call a blues scale. And a blues scale is 5 notes, not the 8 that is within Western system. And some of those notes are not on the scale, that don't exist in there. Usually the 3, there's a note in between the 4 and the 5 and the 7. Those are the 3. So you're going to go 1, this sort of strange blue 3, 1 strange blue 3, 4, 5, 7, 1, 3, 4, 5, 7. Is that right? If I had my banjo with me, I'd play it. I'd play the scale. So anyway, a blue note falls in between those 2 notes. It's not within the Western tonal system, but it falls in between. It's part of the African system. And so when African Americans transfer, when they're kidnapped and forced to be slaves, they sort of take the system that they had and they overlay it onto the system that they are now living within, and we get a blue scale. So here's an example. This is what a blue note is. If you know the song Amazing Grace, which is a hymn, and if you sing it without blue notes, it would sound like this. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Right, so that is that hymn with no blue notes. But no, because when Heino was super popular, young people liked him, right? Like when old people were young, they still liked Heino. Like he was popular at one point in time with young people. It's just that he didn't die. Oh, this is interesting that my video card is a little bit higher. Fascinating. Oh, you know what I need to do? You can hear music, and you probably shouldn't be hearing music right now because it will distract you from what I'm doing. All right, so there we go. So I just sang Amazing Grace without syncopation, without blue notes. So if I were going to add blue notes, I would do something like this. I would go, so instead of going Amazing Grace, which is all within the scale, I would go Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once, right, and so you go on like that, right? So it's this note that is usually like a little bit below where you want to go, or maybe a little bit above, and it pulls, but it doesn't get you there. So, so instead of like Amazing Grace, you go Amazing Grace. It slides in between the 2 notes. That saved a wretch like me. Or with a blue note, that saved a wretch like me. right? So this blue note is this scale that's coming out of sort of African practices, and a bunch of people also have sort of like these 5-note scales, and it's this note that's in between, and it's coming out of the Black tradition, and you will hear blue notes all the time in pop music now. Like people just use blue notes everywhere. It's just become a thing that people don't even realize they're doing it, that you take your third and you flat it a little bit, or you sort of go in between the 4 and the 5, or you flat your 7. And so that is part of Black tradition, and that is something that is just in our music now all the time. And so there's just so much about, and actually even just certain kind of ornamentation styles, like just doing that right, that kind of a thing, that's coming out of Black gospel traditions. And so a lot of our singing styles that we just do, like if you just watch people do runs on American Idol, that's all Black singing style. That's all from the Black church. So a lot of just the basis of our musical practices have been taken from Black gospel, Black church traditions, Black blues traditions, and have just been incorporated into our style. The Whitney wobble. Although, you know what's really interesting? If you actually listen to Whitney Houston, she doesn't actually do that much. She doesn't do that much that you think. She doesn't do as much as you think she does. Like go and rewatch. Re-listen to her singing "I Will Always Love You." She certainly has some, but there's a lot of times when she doesn't. If you want to know somebody who really does a whole lot, that would be Christina Aguilera. Christina Aguilera puts them all over the place, and you're like, live. If you see Christina Aguilera performing live, you're like, what are you doing? Knock it off. Like, sing the note, my friend. Just like, get in there. Because when she's live, she just kind of goes wild. But Whitney Houston's actual use of melisma is fairly tasteful, actually. We just kind of think of it as being bigger than it is. But if you compare her to like Christina Aguilera live, you'll be like, oh, I see. Yeah. And Mariah Carey too. Mariah Carey stepped it up, right? Like Whitney's doing it, she's doing it, but she's like pretty tasteful, I think. If you listen to something like I'm Your Baby Tonight or a bunch of pieces, it's actually pretty good. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a lot in there that you're like, what are you doing? But then Mariah Carey just sort of added a whole lot, and all blue runs. Yeah, and you're like, come on. Like, it's supposed to be for effect, right? My pleasure, Reign of Terror, is what I do for a living. Like, here's the thing, right? When you think about adding a blue note, it's supposed to do something, right? It's supposed to, so if I say, that saved a wretch like me, right? That moment, you add that blue note there because you want to sort of give that yearning pull, like, that saved a wretch like me, and that you give that emotional charge to the word me in that moment by giving you that blue note. But if you put it on every note, then it loses its effectiveness. So that's no good. An accent, not the whole. Yes, an accent, not the whole shebang. Exactly. My pleasure, Reign of Terror. It's like you want that tension, right? Exactly. I am sometimes listening to the notes that aren't there because I know my John Cage. But you know what though? Here's the thing about Christina. She can sing. And she actually, she can sing. It's just that, and when she can sing, she has pipes, right? And when she's on record and there's a producer that is talking to her and saying, pull back here, don't push so far there. Like, a lot of her tunes are very, very good. She's quite good. But I find that when she's live and she does not have a producer reining her in a little bit, I don't know if it's nervousness or what it is, but she just goes too much. But this, I think, is also, to be honest, a part of what happens when a practice is removed when a technique is removed from its practice. Whitney Houston learned how to sing that style in church, right? her mother is Cissy Houston, who's a gospel singer. Dionne Warwick, like, I mean, like she is part of the Black church. So she learned to sing these techniques in context, right? So of course you wouldn't go overblown with all those techniques because you're singing gospel songs, which are about Jesus. And you don't want to make those songs about Jesus about you. You know what I mean? Like, so you make them exuberant and you give them all this extra energy, but you don't like make it some kind of ego show about yourself, because that's, you know, not appropriate. But yeah, it's more spectacle, so she goes all out, right? And to prove that she's not lip syncing, right? Yes, right? Right, but she doesn't have the experience to know how to restrain herself. This is the problem. This is the exact problem, right? So with Whitney, it's coming out of a practice of singing gospel in churches. So there is a kind of restraint that's built into that practice. But the generation after her, they weren't going, like, Christina Aguilera is not a member of a Black Baptist church, right? Well, it's a hymn. It's about yourself, but it's about giving yourself over to Jesus, right, and to the grace. But you wouldn't want to perform it in this, like, if you went to church and you performed it the way that Christina sometimes performs stuff, people would be upset with you, because that would be sort of inappropriate to that moment. And so the generation after Whitney Houston, right, like Christina Aguilera, Fergie, even Mariah, and all of the American Idol folks, they didn't go to the gospel church for the most part. I mean, like some people did, like Fantasia Barrino, but a lot of them didn't. What they learned how to do those techniques by listening to Whitney Houston. And so for them, they're like, oh, Whitney Houston did it like 5. I'm going to do it 8 or 11, right? So they don't have the context of the practice within church. They just think of it as something that you just do all the time. So because it's removed from practice. See, Jer, see, this is what I mean. So you can learn those things, but a lot of them, Aguilera's in the Mickey Mouse Club, not a place where nuance of gospel singing is learned. And this is true. This is a true fact. She and Justin and also Brittany, they were all in the Mickey Mouse Club together. And also Ryan Reynolds, I think, was in the Mickey Mouse Club, the new Mickey Mouse Club. I have the opening credits for the new Mickey Mouse Club that I'm going to play in my History of Rock and Roll class. Well, you think it is, but it kind of isn't, because they borrow a lot. Like, they're like, oh, it's Mickey Mouse Club. Here's our Calypso. Like, here's our, like, they borrow. Oh, Kids Incorporated was more. Yeah. But they're like still little echoes, because you don't want to be too square, right? People, it is 9/11. Hold on. What are we doing? I'm going to pull ourselves out of this. We tell the story of the sugarcane farmer who took criminals from the jails and worked them in his fields until they died. You realize it's the story of the sugarcane cutters who blinded to the threat of death, but changed in a few major ways. That is not bullshit. Oh, I should be over here. Oh, sorry, Mocha music. I was thinking, yes, it was Mocha music. Let me get out of this, and then we're going to move on. All right, let me find my, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go right over there to, you know, this place. Like this song. What's for dinner? That is a very good question. Why am I tired again? Let's watch the sky churn, because we're a hobo.
Is so strong that it seems to open a path in the haze above you. You are sure you see massive talons curved around the clouds.
We're going to keep watching.
The thunder is so immense that the ground trembles. Your lips and hands tingle from the electric charge that fills the air until the dancing lightning passes on over the hills.
Folks, I'm tired and I have no money. I'm a hobo. So we're going to call it at Richmond. Here. We're going to call it in Richmond. I love storms like that too. It's good. Oop, what happened there? What did I do? What am I doing right now? What is that? Hey, I just messed up with my stream. What did I do? Hey, stream, what is this? My mic? Is that what this is? Why is that even open? Come on, my Mike. Don't be weird. Sometimes, you know, you can just ignore that. And then let's lock down some of these things. All right. Here. I want to hang out with you all again. It's not going to happen. Oh, B Boodle. Let me, wait, I want to talk with you all. Let's chat. There we go. Hold on. Let me transition over here. Whoop. Okay, B Boodle, it's 1 a.m. Go to bed. Thanks for hanging out with me, everybody. I'm tired, I have no money, and I'm a hobo. Truer words never said. It is true. So today was a very productive stream. We got the story of Althea the blues player. So we explored a little of the game and got a lot of music history and race title. Yeah. So I finished it. I did, right? Thank you, Krellin. I finished a story despite all distractions. And next Thursday, I am going to fulfill at least one more story. We've decided we're going to be practical and get our stuff done. And boots and chats and boots and chats and boots and chats and boots and chats. So this is what I want to say to you all. I'm Trooper SJP. This is the Academic Foxhole, where we talk about music history, apparently. And also, but like the game inspired me. What am I supposed to do? But I will be here at 10 o'clock, so 45 minutes. I'm going to get some dinner. But in 45 minutes, I will be here so that we can watch Critical Role together, and we can, you know, do the Critical Role thing and chat with each other. I'll be hosting. Saturday at noon, I will be playing Horizon Zero Dawn. We're going to go into a cauldron and see how that goes. It's sort of going to be awkward because I don't have enough empty space in my bag, so why do I go to a cauldron when my bag is full? I don't know why I do that. There's something wrong with me. So that's noon. And then at 6 p.m. Eastern time, I will be running Night Witches on Geekspace TV, and it'll be the last session in Poland, and there'll be mysteries abound. So please come by and see that. I appreciate it. On Wednesday at 9 o'clock on Off the Table, I will be playing Zeke Hart, the name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. Ooh, the first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F or an M will appear. And then I say bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fana, and fo. And then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Rainatera, bo, beta, terra, banana, fana, fo, fana, terra, fee, fi, mo, maina, terra. Rainatera. Thank you so much for that subscription, Rainatera. I appreciate it. My hat's on backwards. There we go. Here we go. I don't want my hat on backwards. That's terrible. Thank you so much, Rainatera, for the sub. It is much appreciated. Every sub makes me feel like you care. And, you know, I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Wednesday, 9 o'clock. On Off the Table, I will be playing Zeke Hart, the ornery prospector looking for gold in New Mexico, where there's not really a lot of gold, so not so great. But it's going to be a superhero game. He's going to get superhero powers. And I hope that you will be able to see my costume reveal, which is going to be wild. There's going to be like a superhero costume reveal, which I'm very excited about. No cape, though. Oh, thanks, that's funny. You know, it was funny because I used to wear cowboy hats all the time when I was in the Army. I know, wearing my hat backwards. When I was in the Army, you didn't know me in the Army, but when I was in the Army, I wore like this shirt that I'm wearing right now, which you can tell is a Western shirt. I used to wear this in the Army all the time. So I used to wear this when I was in the Army. I had cowboy hats. I had cowboy boots. I used to wear bolo ties. Yeah, so I used to wear a lot of Western wear, actually. And I have a belt buckle, which I should it should be in my box right now. But I have a belt buckle that my great grandfather gave me, and it has a silver dollar in it, and it's he made it himself because my great grandfather was a cowboy. He fought in World War I and World War II, and my great grandfather's grandfather. So my great grandfather's named Bill Bailey, and my great grandfather's grandfather was also Bill Bailey, and he fought in the Civil War in the Black Cavalry. And after fighting the Civil War, they gave him 40 acres and a mule in South Dakota. So on that side, my mother's side of the family, there have been cowboys in the Dakotas for like a couple of generations. And when I was a little kid, my great grandfather still had his ranch out there in South Dakota, but he was the first Black person to own a casino in Reno, Nevada. And so he had this casino, I think it was called the China Sea Club. And the Black artists who would tour and play at the big casinos in Reno, they couldn't stay at the hotels where they were performing because they were white-only hotels. So all these performers would go through and they would perform at these white casinos, but then they would actually stay in my great-grandpa's casino, and they would also perform there. So my dad had like, you know, Pearl Bailey and Nat King Cole and Sammy Davis sort of playing at his casino, and he had he made this belt buckle, and he gave me this belt buckle. It's a kind of a real Western style belt buckle. So I've got this great Western belt buckle that came from my great grandfather. And when I was in the Army, I just wore a lot of Western wear, and I don't wear a lot of Western wear now. Not for any particular reason. Mainly because I'm always wearing sort of like, I don't know, less exciting things at work. Yeah, that's right. Well, you come home, Bill Bailey. He actually got his, because he was a veteran, right? So he got it. Yeah. And I should wear more Western wear because I really like it. I've got this belt buckle heirloom. I've got a belt buckle heirloom, and I hold it very dear. And I need some really, like, I need a good pair of cowboy boots, and I need some good Western wear, like some really good shirts. I love good Western wear shirts. They make me really happy. So, hey, wait. Reign of Terror, we're going to add you as a regular. Hold on. Reg add Reign of Terror. Oh, thanks, Jer. Thank you. Reign of Terror, please add that link one more time. Do it. Let me see. Ooh. Oh, I do know about the Oakland Black Cowboy Parade. Yes. Oh, you are now one of our regulars, Reign of Terror. No question about it. Yeah. So I just don't want randos posting rando weird links that make me nervous. Yeah, I do. So I've got a very interesting family history, as a matter of fact. My great grandmother started the first Black USO in Reno as well. So there's like a bunch of stuff so I've got like family that was like all Reno. So what I'm trying to say is, my family is very Western. Like my family came out west. Well, my mom's side of the family came out west, after the Civil War, and so we've been like Westerners and cowboys for quite some time. But I never did a rodeo. But I'm a mean two-stepper. I can two-step, and I can do my Cotton Eye Joe. Like I spent a lot of time. I'm gonna tell you, the '90s and me were all about country music and hanging out in country bars and two-stepping, because that was my life. But I need to get some new cowboy boots. Is what I need to do. I think that would be good. Like a nice pair of cowboy boots, and maybe like another bolo tie. I'll work it out. I'll get my Western wear on. Might be nice. What am I doing hanging out with y'all right now? I gotta go. I'm gonna get some dinner. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get some dinner, and I will be back here in 40 minutes for. Oh yes, Reign of Terror. Reign of Terror. Queer country bars, best country bars, best country bars. We need to attempt to pencil in April. We need to attempt to pencil in April. Oh, yes, when I'm in Seattle. Yes, indeed. Yes. Reign of Terror. There was a place. Did you go to Thunder Bay? I don't know if it was still open. When I went to Thunder Bay, it was the 90s. It was in Berkeley. huge queer country bar. But there was also, there was also this bar, was it the Saddle Ranch? It was out in Walnut Creek, and they had a women's country dancing night before their regular night. It was like on like a Friday or whatever it was, like, you know, from 5 to 8 or 9. Yeah, I was hanging out in queer country bars in the Bay Area in the 90s when I was home on leave. Like when I would go home on leave, I'd like go to the country bars and I would just like dance, and it was so great. I love partner dancing. I want to go dancing now. Oh, right. Yes, I have to go eat. Krellin says I have to go eat. I'm going to go eat right now. I will see you all in a half hour for a Critical Role. Rated Terror, we'll talk about this later. We'll talk about it later. You all are so wonderful. Thank you for being here. And I will see you either tonight for Critical Role or Saturday for Horizon Zero Dawn, or for Night Witches, or Wednesday for Super Duper on Off the Table. That's it. Yeah, we have a Discord. Come and join the Discord if you're not already there. We're pretty awesome. So I will see you all later. Let me go get this stream going on. So thanks, everybody. Take care of yourselves. And, you know, I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye, everyone. I do.